We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. And this episode we have for you lined up is part 4 of our episode 100 retrospective, 100 episodes of Squawking Dead in 5 parts. This week we are covering our best clips of The Walking Dead Fear the Walking Dead season 5. We have a lot of fun going through this, although at the time it doesn't feel like it because we were up on a Sunday morning, 10 a.m. filming this. We recorded this on the 27th, I want to say, of September. So, this is before The Walking Dead World Beyond, even The Walking Dead, the episode 1016. Hey guys in the chat, thanks for coming. So I very much look forward to showing you this. We actually just published today our Percolation Nation blog, which highlights our coffee backers' contributions. What is that? Well, when you support us, you get to be thanked every month in our blog, in a monthly blog we call Percolation Nation. Highlights our monthly and one-off contributors that deign to support this podcast. What they get in return is unedited episode recordings prior to when we go live, when we premiere an episode. So they get the unedited version of the podcast. They get to be in our episode recordings. So when we sit down and actually record these unedited episodes, they get a copy of it afterwards. They can join the conversation. They can be a part of the action, lend their voices. All you got to do is follow us on coffee.com/squawkingdead. That's ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. You don't have to do anything else, but if you see something you like, help support the podcast. You get something out of it. And you get a little thank you at the end of the month. So check out that blog. It has a whole bunch. It actually has the episodes that we've released in our episode 100 retrospective thus far. So parts 1 through 3. And also the clips that we've been releasing up until now. So not even just the episode 100s, but we've been catching up on our blog and we've been creating clips along the way. It has a whole bunch of clips that in case you missed it on social media or on our YouTube channel, they're there for you to actually take a look at, have fun with, comment on, whatever. I hope you guys had a happy Christmas, or a Merry Christmas, as they would say. I certainly had a really great time off, season's greetings and all that. It was wonderful. We opened some presents in our last episode, episode 100, part 3, covering The Walking Dead season 9. If you missed that, we did that on Friday. Rachel opened her present as part of the intro to that YouTube video. It was a lot of fun. I was in my onesie. I'm not anymore. Eventually, onesies have to get washed. I've learned this the hard way. But catch that. It's a wonderful thing. It was so great that I even posted a little forward in our audio podcast about that to encourage people to actually check that out. So I hope you do. It was quite a touching, fun moment. We caught up a little bit about what we were doing. Oh my gosh, everybody's here. It's great. I better get on with this, but last but not least, so as you've noticed, we've been trying to push out these episodes, these parts, episode 100 parts, a lot quicker. Last one was Friday. Today's was cranked out and edited in 2 days, so I got that out today. I am trying, and this is going to be very difficult, I'm trying to get part 5, which is covering The Walking Dead season 10. I'm trying to get that pushed out before New Year's. If I can do that, that would be great. I can catch up on the blogs for the remaining weeks, and I can bring back a couple of cool features, one of which is Morning Squaffy, and I could bring back our weekly Jackbox games on Wednesdays. I can't wait. If I can make that happen, I can make a whole bunch more of you happy in the process. This will only be on our Twitch channel, the Jackbox games, but we can do a lot more than that. Anywho, without further ado, thank you for joining me, people in the chat. Pivy, Rachel, hi Rachel, my partner. Pivy, Blazy, Sharondy, Nisa, Rebecca, Punch. Let me see. There's Meg in the Instagram chat. Meg Scare Creator. Yeah, that's all I got for now. Where are you guys? Anyways, without further ado, have fun. I had a lot of fun making this. Sharondy is live and on camera. Nisa, large and in charge, and Rachel does back out almost at the end of the podcast because it was the morning. It was a Sunday. But I hope you enjoy it. Take it easy, guys.
are Squawking Dead, a podcast polarizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe, and it's goddamn morning. This is like the only time we can record. It's 10 a.m. Eastern time on a Sunday morning. We all hate each other, or well, we all hate me, including me. But we're here to record part 4 of episode 100, covering our coverage of Walking Dead Season 5, our best clips, our best moments, according to a bunch of us who decided that these are our best moments, including my brother, who's a cool dude, who only did 8 clips. Anyway, so let's keep going.
He's still, though.
Yeah, I still
something.
I still got him a shirt. We're going to screen share a little bit of our favorite clips from Fear the Walking Dead Season 5. If you want to get these clips right out the gate, all of them, 3 hours and 46 minutes of our best of clips, including stuff that we'd previously released but are on YouTube. There's an unlisted playlist that we actually have in some of our posts, our latest posts on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. It's really literally just $3 and you can access it for 30 days, or if you subscribe to a coffee a month, you can get the party rolling. But once you have the link to the playlist, just add it to your YouTube account and you have it forever. Either way, try to just set up a coffee.com account. That's ko-fi.com, and then follow us at ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. You're in the loop, you know what's going on. As soon as something drops, you know it's there. And if you want to support us, you can. If you don't, you don't have to, because there's still some other posts that are free. Let's start with the first clip and see where we land.
Anytime that we can see like a pet during the apocalypse, I feel like everybody loves it. Like, I mean, it's like Daryl and dogs,
Yeah.
People are like, no, something can't happen to dog.
Yeah.
Right? Nope.
That would be the only reason I don't want to see animals on the show, is because there's a potential.
Right.
Yeah, there's a potential for them to get eaten. I would rather see a person get eaten
Yes.
than an animal.
Absolutely.
And that drives me up.
Oh,
the
that
wall,
was
by the way.
heartbreaking.
That makes me crazy.
Shiva's death was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. My thing is all deaths are heartbreaking, but I'm partial to people.
You're partial to people?
I'm partial to people. I'm on team people. Okay?
I just have a to me, it's like, I'm triggered by the defenseless. And to me, like, animals and like kids are the defenseless. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
So that is what triggers me. Like, the same reason why, and like, when the whisperers were like at the gates and that female whisperer put the baby like on the ground, I was like, okay, this is going to, please do not go there. And I was like, please let's not go there. Like, and in my logical mind, I knew like the baby will be safe. But in my mind, I was like, but also there was a little part of me that was like, oh, please, dear God, let's not go there. Because that's the thing. It's like when it comes to that kind of stuff, or like, animals. What's the name of the horse? Was it Buttons? The horse?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that was sad. Yeah. That kind of stuff. I'm like, it just hurts my heart. But like a human being, it's like, well,
yeah, we got so many of those.
Yeah. It's like, no, but I mean, it's like,
No, tell me more, because
you
I'm
can
bullshit.
yourself.
I'm on team people.
No, it's always a tragedy.
No, I know. I see what you mean. I find that like that attitude, and this is why it's so strange to kind of. I find this conversation fascinating, but like I think part of it is like this weird holdover, because we do see that humans like are capable of like the most cruelty or whatever.
Right.
And on the other hand, there is something to be said about the impression that, like, let's say the concept of original sin kind of has on people's minds. Like, okay, humans were born into this world. The further along we're in, the less we give a shit. There's like the Louis C.K. bit of like, like, oh, when you turn 30, he's like, oh, he's 30. Oh, that's cool. When you turn 40, everybody just, oh, 40, here's a new 30. When you turn 50, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. The older you, like, until you turn like 90, and then you're like, wow, you made it this far? Wow, I thought you were dead. Like that. You know what I mean? Like, they just to check on you.
You deserve a party.
Wow, good 100. Whoa. Who wants to break the Guinness Book of World Records? You do. But then, like, yeah, so in the Walking Dead universe, it's like, it's people, they cause the most problems, they are the Walking Dead, blah, blah, blah. So I can see why people would be more sympathetic to animals. They didn't do nothing wrong.
It's not their fault.
It's people that made the virus.
Yeah.
Animals are just surviving.
They're just surviving, as they typically do.
The chaos that's going on in the human world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm giving you the points on that one. I'm still on team PayPal. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in this world. If I was in the zombie apocalypse, I'd probably be even more team people. I'd be like, okay, look, hey,
I'm gonna eat you.
Exactly. Skidmark, you're now my food. Oh, that sounds terrible.
It's Skidmark.
I mean, if it came down to that, I'd have to.
It's different.
But it's just a name, Skidmark. I'm eating Skidmark.
I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
I would actually give it a name. I would honor it. See, that's the thing. Like, I would honor it with its name. Everybody enjoy
Say
Skidmark.
thank you.
What was that goat's name? Tabitha?
Tabitha. Oh, poor Tabitha.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. very
Oh man, you
But
guys.
there is an honor, and like there are people that believe, like when they have to like kill their prey for survival purposes for eating, that
You
they're
honor it,
honoring. Yeah, they're properly honoring their prey because this prey is providing them nourishment that they need. I mean, at least that's what they always say.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but I'm glad I did now.
Everybody, skid marks for dinner. Enjoy.
You're not gonna get much meat from a cat.
But you know what? Was it like beggars can't be choosers?
Yeah.
It's like it's either skid mark or somebody's gonna have to shave off a finger like a pinky. I am not against eating pets. Okay, well not as long as they're not your pets, right? Like they're just
Say animals. It's extra creepy when you say pets.
No, that's why I said it. That's why I said it.
I'm not opposed to surviving for any means necessary.
Right.
How about that?
I'm going to say this is a very controversial thing right now. I'm not against the Yulin Dog Festival. I'm not at all.
What?
The Chinese have this like Yulin Dog Festival where they go out in the street because they're a little overrun with dogs. Part of me is kind of like, I get why people are upset with this sort of thing, but like it's the same thing with deer hunting, right?
I was just gonna say, it sounds like us and deer. We're overrun
Yeah.
with deer, so we have deer season. They have dog season.
Exactly, and you get overrun with deer. They get into like the farm population, and it's like, oh, this is a huge problem.
Right.
There's like toxic poop. They're eating things they actually shouldn't be eating, too, like in their diet, which causes them to go into the population, which isn't great for them, isn't great for us. And so you have to kind of eliminate a sizable portion of their population just to keep them safe in a sort of weird way. But look, we all watch a zombie apocalypse show, and it's kind of like, well, like, why is it so bad? If they need to decrease the population, I mean, geez, it's like the walkers. Anyway, so
I am 100% against it. I would rather eat my human neighbors than their dog.
I agree with this.
I would like eat them and give the dogs, like what?
the leftovers.
Yeah, the leftovers, and I would take care of their dog.
Nisa and I are diametrically opposed here.
Yeah.
If there were people around, I'd eat them before my animals. Sure.
Rachel was talking about eating the neighbors, and I was like, our neighbors have kids, and that seems to be you guys saying.
Yeah, it seems to be our thing to eat kids.
Right.
Apocalypse.
I mean,
my neighbors don't have kids, so
children would be more tender.
That's gonna be coming up soon. Yeah, less stringy like adults. Ugh, gross.
I'd like to think that in the zombie apocalypse, I would actually be not.
In your opinion, there's pet animals. Like, if you came across a wild animal, say, would you kill it and eat it, or do you only? Okay. So you would eat an animal, just not one that you have an emotional attachment to.
I wouldn't eat like dogs that I know. There's gonna come a time in which I'm gonna eat my neighbor's pets. I'm not gonna eat mine. Never.
Right.
I think I would starve before I ate my dog, or my cat.
As we discover in the zombie apocalypse, like migratory patterns change. Dogs start going feral as they go hungry, and it's kind of like, at what point do you decide, like, for my own safety, because they're not going to start listening to me anymore? Like, is there going to be a point in your mind? It sounds like there is, like, where you decide, look, it's starting to look like it's us or them. So
I've given this a lot of thought, and if I come to the point in which I'm thinking about eating my dogs, I am going to release them so they can try to survive as feral dogs with other dogs.
Right. So this way you can feel better about eating them later.
No, I can eat other dogs, but not my dogs. Like, oh, hey, you're free now, Bobby. Yay. Don't eat me. I'm gonna eat your friend though.
Right.
I would just try to give them a chance to survive, and I would go on my own, like,
here's
away.
Here's where the compromise comes in, right? You should train your dog to groom other dogs to bring them back. Oh my!
I had that same thought.
It's like Domino's for dogs. It's like
I had that same thought. I'm like, go send the dog out and have him bring a friend back, and then eat the friend.
God, that sounds so sketchy. That's
we can all eat my dog's friend. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bobby would eat him too. I mean, Bobby's hungry, so he needs to eat.
He'll be like,
yeah, and also Gibbs. I mean, he's a big dog, and other dogs love him. He's a beautiful and nice this German Shepherd who other dogs love. So he could definitely be the one to, you know, bring other dogs home. And we could eat.
That's a friend, you know. It's a friend till the end.
It's by you too, because I kind of want to see what you think too. The swan song theory is that
I love this.
The sole survivor of Fear the Walking Dead is Althea, and everybody else dies.
Aww.
With the option of Morgan and Dwight coming aboard, since they were on The Walking Dead, you know, maybe you never know.
It's all theoretical right now, so
it gives closure to Fear the Walking Dead, but it gives all the characters involved like a bit more meaning and more drive to kind of come back or be a part of these other projects, like the movie or the or The Walking Dead even. Like, you know, that gives them kind of purpose. So yeah, and the poetry behind her doing that is so that it gives Fear like a end chapter, like full closure. Like, yes, this is how the Clarks lived and Strand, etc. But it also gives Althea purpose because she was, as opposed to not being a part of the story and filming it from afar, this is the one she stepped into and she helped close it, you know. And I'm not thinking tragic death. I'm thinking like meaningful death or something like that. They died helping someone,
like a greater good type death.
Yeah. And so we don't talk about how they died. We talk about how they lived, and that's Fear the Walking Dead as a whole. And so Althea, having stepped into the story, now will never like capture another story again. She'll be a part of the world, like Morgan.
Yeah,
in a way.
It's a terrible thought, and there's holes poked into all of this. Like, nobody wants this to happen. If I had to think of like an interesting way for the story to go, like, we still don't know everything about Althea. By the end of the season, we know more things about her than we would have, but like, we thought we'd get more in season 4 and we didn't. And it's only season 5 and we got a little bit more into her character, why she keeps the tapes.
She's like the Samuel Tarly of The Walking Dead, writing down the histories. I mean, of course, in her case, she's not writing, but taking down the histories of the people, a record keeper, so that people in the future can look back and see what was happening. But instead of like a song of ice and fire, call it a song of gas and water or something.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Of oil and water. It doesn't mix. The reason why I say this, and the reason why I thought this up, because it's a terrible thought that, like, okay, everybody else dies, albeit for a greater purpose. But these are people who are really, The Walking Dead itself, or the universe itself, is the idea is like finding your idealized self and actualizing it in this zombie apocalypse in a world where it has to look beyond survival, right? But Althea is still herself. You know, granted, she's living in the world, but she's still her old self. She's still reporting all these things. But at some point, she has to step in and be something more. I wonder. You know what I mean? She's the only one. She's the only holdout right now. And like, going off the conversation of the Commonwealth and all that stuff, like how, oh, they assign you what you were before. So like, what's the point? You know, if you don't have the freedom to be the thing that you were meant to be, you know, or something more. I wonder about her because it's not often that you see people being the same person.
If she was, I mean, we're assuming this is who she was before the apocalypse as well.
That's a good point. Maybe she's a liar.
Maybe she assumed someone else's identity who was a journalist that she knew.
Like Wes.
Maybe her name's not even Althea.
like when Wes is Derek.
Exactly.
I was gonna say that in the case of the Commonwealth, you know, in the comic, it's what you were before, you're gonna be now. Like, what if you're good at, you know, different things and you just lie? Like, you know, I used to be a psychologist. How are they gonna verify that?
Imagine like somebody was like, I was in marketing before it all went down. Like, what do you do in the apocalypse?
Exactly, but
these communities.
I'm just gonna lie and say, you know, I was a psychologist.
Officer of propaganda?
In marketing, you can make movies to show people what you're doing. I'll market your community.
I can imagine like a person in marketing would just be sitting on their ass most of the time. Like,
I feel like someone in marketing would have Aaron's job. They would go out and recruit.
But it depends on the community. Well, I guess the Commonwealth, you could do that. Like CRM, you wouldn't do that because the whole point is that you don't recruit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But in a community, an actual community, you'd want people. Someone who's good at marketing would be a good people person.
I guess you'd have to be good at fighting too.
Collect people. Yeah. Well, that's something everyone would learn in the apocalypse. I mean, come on.
Ideally.
Nobody's getting away with not being able to defend themselves. Yeah. And if they don't, then they're dead.
I mean, especially after a few years, if you're alive, then you know how to defend yourself.
Or you're Eugene.
By the way,
Marjorie Eugene.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. There's bound to be many of those. But
You're just really exceptionally good at lying. So there you go.
I started thinking about like one specific thing though, as we were talking about the marketing. I was like, what if you were a sex worker? Is that what's going to happen?
Oh my god! Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't think that's what you would tell everyone you did beforehand.
I was a what do they call them?
Escort.
A concubine, escort, whatever. I was a
concubine.
I was a concubine for the emperor or some stupid thing. You know, like, so what's my job? I'll get back to you.
Again, recruitment.
Yes, you are good with people.
They're people.
I've got layers. So now we're getting to the point where like we started making clips this season for some reason. Like we hadn't done it until season 5 or like our second year. But yeah, this is our first one actually. Oh, well, technically it was the episode 24 where we started making clips for the mid-season, the SDCC content. But yeah, this is like an actual episode.
By the way, how deflating was it when they get to this big wall of bowel barricades, right? That's what you call it. Yeah. When they get to this bit, and they're like doing the Avengers Assemble pose. Like I think there was literally music.
It was
like,
awesome.
Dun, 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 dun. And then all of a sudden,
a teaser about it too.
Like wait, hold on, I got a call. Hello? Oh, kid? Oh, guys, we gotta go. This is we gotta hit the dusty trail, right, John Dory?
Survivors, assemble.
No. Oh, wait, no, we're not. We're not assembling. Oh, okay.
Okay, bye.
So bye. All right. Put a pin in it. We'll be back.
Speaking of deflation, putting a pin in.
I'll get that later. Thanks. Should we do lunch? Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was just hilarious, actually. And then they drop a bombshell, which makes it even like so. They have
the little things that are kind of just funny. They were trying to find the kids or something, and then like or I can't remember exactly what it was, but then they decided to go north where there's that huge blockade of walkers or whatever, and they're about to go through it, like through this big thing, and then they're like, oh wait, we gotta go. I guess we gotta go. I guess we're going. We're going. We're not doing this. Okay. This thing that we shouldn't do, or apparently, I don't know.
Like Vatos in the first season when it's all tense between the Vatos and our group, and all of a sudden Granny comes walking out, and she's like, oh, okay, everything's fine now. We're all done.
Oh, everything's great. Awesome. All right, there's no tension? Okay, cool. Oh, which is, by the way, it's funny that you mentioned that. Like, some people are saying, like, oh, this should be like another one of those tales of the Walking Dead. Like, okay, whatever happened to those guys?
That would be fun. I really liked that group. Honestly, I thought, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it has nothing to do with this episode, but I just thought that was really awesome and an amazing display of judging someone before you know them, right? I mean, look at these guys. They look scary, they act scary, and then, eventually we find out they're in the exact same position we are, just surviving.
Just a reflection.
The way they showed it was perfect when Abuela comes in and like, Abuela, what are you doing here?
Yes.
This is so nice. So you were like, wait.
She's like, Clarence, who are your friends?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Well, here we
Before
go.
I bring this up, this is one of the things that's on John and June's movie list is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you remember Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's a very epic kill in that movie that involves a big-ass boxing Nazi in Indiana Jones.
Come on, Indiana.
And there's a plane where the pilot got shot, and he's like resting on the control panel, and the plane's kind of spinning around in the runway, like this. And,
like this.
And they're boxing, and all of a sudden Indy gets him in a move and punches him in the face, and then he falls into the propeller blades.
Oh, that propeller kill.
Yeah.
If that doesn't win the combo kill on Instagram, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I think Victor gets this one too. By the way, he should definitely. But yeah, I mean that's why I'm looking out for these parallels because Andrew Chambliss is basically saying the movies have a very interesting tie-in. The movies on John and June's movie list have a very interesting tie-in to what happens in the season, and so given that, the propeller kill in Indiana Jones makes me.
This is a perfect segue. Before we continue with that, I forgot to point the mic to you, Sharon. Guarantee, about Fear the Walking Dead season 4, and you wanted to mention something about It Happened One Night.
Somewhere in time.
Somewhere in time, right?
It's about a man who goes back in time to find the woman that he loves. He's a playwright, and an old woman comes to him after one of the plays and is like, "Come back to me." And so he does some research and figures out she was an actress in the turn of the century. So he time travels. He dresses in period clothes and has all period stuff, and he lays in the bed and listens to a tape about time traveling, and he time travels back and finds her. And they fall in love and everything. And then he's sitting with her after they, do it. And he pulls a coin out of his pocket, and it's a modern day coin, and all of a sudden he just zips back and he's back in present day, and he leaves her behind, and that's how she comes to find him. But I was just saying that there's a lot of parallels in there with John and June and him trying to go back and forth to find her.
Oh yeah, that whole movie was filmed on Mackinac Island here in Michigan.
Oh,
it took place at the Grand Hotel.
It's a great movie.
I've stood in the place where there's a plaque on the tree. There's a scene where he's standing next to the tree, and I think it's right after he gets zapped back to present day, and he's just sad standing by a tree, and they've put a plaque on it and everything, and they're like, Christopher Reeve stood right here.
This is the tree. This is the tree. Oh, it's Christopher Reeve, huh?
And James Seymour?
Yeah, James Seymour.
Yeah. I actually fell so much in love with that movie. I always said if I had a daughter, I would name her McKenna. James Seymour's character's name is Elise McKenna.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to My Love Affair.
It's like a love letter to Ruben Blades, by the way. It's just his acting on this episode is just so grounded. Mm-hmm. I feel like where everybody else is over the top a little bit. I mean, because acting is like taking what we do normally, like even us on the podcast, and just shooting it up 10 levels. But he has a way of playing it like so casual, but like in a way that kind of has the right punch. He just accentuates just enough to kind of get, suck you into his world.
And he did it in kind of a menacing way this week too. That I hated him, but I loved him at the same time.
Yeah. Like the way he's kind of, I don't know what's the right word. It's word lording over Charlie a little bit.
Luring?
Lording, like leaning over and then being like, "Hey, I'm Daniel Salazar. You will listen to me."
Like puppet master almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
He assumes he knows because she's so young. He assumes she hasn't seen or done the things that she has, and I think she kind of puts him in his place.
I haven't watched the first 3 seasons yet, so my only experience with him is from season 5. And I mean, so far I like him, and I like his relationship with Charlie. I think it's really sweet. But I'm gonna be honest, when he separated from Skidmark, it hurt a whole lot worse.
His personality?
When he was separated from Skidmark at the end, he separated from Charlie too, and it was sad. But separated from Skidmark was worse.
In what way?
Emotionally, it hurt me a lot more when they took his cat away than when they took Charlie away.
There we go. We're going back to
Charlie.
Monty P.
I wish this whole show would have started with Daniel Salazar and his family.
And it kind of did. I mean,
no, I mean from their point of view.
Oh.
Forget the Clarks. I think Ruben Blades is an amazing leading man. I think I would have liked to see him in a more leading role.
But you know what it is. You know why they started with the Clarks is because they're basically 2 separate families that found each other and joined together with all these different personalities, though. Like rather than like one a focus like
sure. Travis has a serial killer son. Nick's got drug problems. Alicia's just like
serial killer. Wait, his serial killer son? No, he's just a shitty teen. That's the thing. Like
his serial killer tendencies.
Well, kids in the apocalypse, right? Don't they all?
No, just Chris. He was like that before. We just saw that in the apocalypse.
He would have killed somebody before. He would have killed somebody without the apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
I have more sympathy for him though. I've like over the years at the time I thought he was such a fucking dick, but then like I'm looking back at like what people think they need to be in the apocalypse. This is not limited to just Chris, right? That kind of thing. We've seen it in like that thing where, Ron Anderson is like, now I got to be all hard, right? Like I got to be all like tough and shit. Because oddly enough, like Carl was egging him on, right? He was like saying, you got to be something different, man. Like it's not going to, if you go back past these walls, it's different.
Yeah.
And then he became
but he took it the wrong way. Yeah.
But yeah, he became what he thought he needed to be, oddly enough, ironically, and then shot freaking Carl in the face.
Carl wasn't specific enough about what Ron needed to be.
Yeah. Neither was Chris. Neither was Travis Manawa.
There you go. There you go.
This is the funny part that I was mentioning the other night about, when we were covering Walking Dead season 9.
Speaking of seeing, by the way, like, what do you think this bitch sees with the helmet on? Okay, because like I gotta know.
Like two little slits.
Are there, or is it like a HUD or something like that with like night vision and shit? Because I really want to know.
Based on everything that we kind of
duct tape all over it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
I don't know.
Based on the whole thing with like, you know how we were joking before about like the Keurig and such, they'd probably pull some like Tony Stark shit and just have like all electronic grid, like a map of like where to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
or like the Predator, like
my
where it's.
God.
I was gonna say Predator.
Right, infrared.
Totally.
That would be at
100%.
least bit like kind of cool. Yeah.
Excuse
It wouldn't
me,
really
guys.
help with walkers, though, right? Because they'd be cold.
Exactly.
Because they're dead.
Okay, yeah, we're dumb. That's true. We're just absolutely stupid. Points to you. I doubt.
Sorry, guys.
No. It's good to be disappointed. Oh, I know Predator.
You can see that little bit of brain activity, though. Like the little bit of brain activity that's going on.
Yeah, well, it'd be like, what? Can you see Can you see brain activity? Like, see?
I'm talking about in the infrared.
Yeah.
Is
But
the
it's-
brain?
it's
I mean,
not-
if the brain gives off any heat,
But it's
then it would
not too
pick it up.
much.
It'd give off
It's not too
electricity.
much.
It'd be like,
Remember in the episode that Jenner
Mhm.
shows the brain of the walker, how it works. It's very, very little, so you wouldn't pick up much with infrared.
right, and it would be like an EKG, and it's not something you could see in real time, because what Jenner is doing is he's performing an not MRI or CT. MRI, yeah, it would be an MRI.
Yeah.
I think it was an MRI. Yeah.
Yeah, not a CT. CT is for blood vessels. But yeah,
So Anon does.
could you imagine? It's just like this thing. It's an instant MRI machine. It just microwaves everybody in sight. Just can you imagine like having a microwave on your face? Fuck it, it's a dead world. They can handle it. A little radiation, right.
What about you? If you have your head in a microwave, you're the one getting the most radiation.
Nah, this is a Faraday cage. It's a Faraday cage, right?
Okay. All right.
We just figured it out. It's a Faraday cage.
We solved the problem.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Which goes to the top of the clip. Like, what does this bitch see? Like, what's going on?
At my restaurant I used to work at, we had window clings, and from the outside, they were completely opaque. You couldn't see through. It was like advertising on the windows.
Okay.
And from the outside, you couldn't see through at all. But from the inside, they were completely transparent. It was like they weren't even there. So if you were standing,
wow.
you couldn't even see the window cling on the window. But if you were on the outside looking in, all you could see was a window. So maybe it's some better version of that.
I wonder how that plays out behind the helmet, like, so is it electrical? Is it not? Is it like, can you see better, right? Is it like a night vision pane or something? Or some cars have that, it's kind of a new thing. Like some cars, instead of like a rear view mirror in the center, that center one above your head, you can like flip it like you would at night when there's a high beam, and instead of like that darker mirror, so you don't get blasted with light, it actually shows an electronic, like your cell phone, an electronic version of what's in back of you because of your rear view camera.
Oh yeah.
So you get like a better picture of what's behind you.
Huh.
Yeah, also some come with sensors, proximity sensors.
Yeah,
On the
exactly.
back of your car.
So I wonder if it's like that, like an LED screen, where you can see like a properly lit version. And then where's the fucking camera? Okay, what does this bitch see? But yeah, you telling us like, wait, guys, come on, like, can't see heat from these walkers. Come on.
Yeah.
Lump in my throat.
Yeah, the line just gets you.
And then I screamed a moment later when that happened.
I gotta say, you're the prettiest thing I've seen since the end of everything. And like, I'm like, holy shit, I
was floored. I was shocked.
That was magic. That was like, whoa. It was like
Unexpected.
You should see her after a shower.
And the moment's gone. The part of Dave will be played by Rachel today. I can't wait to do episode notes because that was perfect.
I think we found the top moment of the episode tonight.
That's going in the clip right there.
That's the funniest thing since the end of it.
How much editing you have to do with this episode.
Well, that's the end of this episode. End of everything.
Right? The end of everything.
We do bar mitzvahs. Anyway, yeah, there goes my lungs.
See, the thing is that you plant something in our head. Like, remember we were talking about, like, in a grimy world, beauty is everything. Like, in a gross world.
Yeah.
And so then, like, we're looking at this drama, and you're great, and I love you, I think, maybe. And then, like, all of a sudden, you kind of bring us back to reality. It's like, well, that's great.
Could be better.
It could be just a little better.
Could be so much better.
Remember, hygiene is like minimal, like if at all. So
yeah,
just imagine it happened somewhere in time, but just everybody's gross underneath their clothes. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was thinking the whole time too. That's why I said it. Like during that scene, and they're having this super romantic moment. In my mind, I'm going
right without brushing their teeth. Like, you're the prettiest thing.
I haven't brushed my teeth in 6 years.
Like, can you imagine the smile? There's like leftover dog food between.
Right. Let's be honest. At this point, I mean, people would start losing teeth. Like.
But imagine if, like, the standard of beauty also is it just like on that note, like, okay, maybe she is the prettiest thing, right? And like, because everybody else is like by comparison, it's just like way grosser,
horrible.
Yeah. The woman with one tooth is the most beautiful.
Like everybody's like a meth beauty queen, sort of.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, if you don't have dental care, then your teeth aren't gonna make it. So
right, oily skin. Okay. Get that gentle rash on their face. Anyway, let's
the CGI on that hot air balloon.
Yeah.
It was right up there with the deer. Like, what the hell?
Oh my god. I don't want to laugh.
It goes the deer, the junkyard, the balloon.
In order of what? Like, because I still find the deer to be the worst.
The deer was the worst.
Deer takes the cake.
Then it goes the junkyard.
Right. Wait, so just for reference, does anybody know what we're talking about when we're talking about the deer?
Yes.
Specifically?
Yes.
Okay, so the CGI deer, when Rick and Michonne were at that sort of carnival, like, festival thing, and they're
We thought Rick died, but he didn't.
Yes. Did Rick die?
Michonne thought he was.
Right, and then a second later. But yeah, and then you see the deer, and it's horribly
horrible.
It's so horribly CGI'd. And the junkyard. Okay, she's referring to the helicopter scene where it's moving away. But yeah,
the junkyard in terms.
Oh, not where it's parked in the background.
We see the helicopter in the back, and we all thought it was the blooper.
Yeah.
Okay. You thought that? I didn't pay attention. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, when I first watched it, I thought, oh my god, how stupid are they? They didn't remove this plane or helicopter. But now I'm thinking it was like the helicopter.
Right.
And then it goes to the balloon.
Now that we know better, so the balloon is passable, but also because you know what, I don't want to talk about the balloon just yet, but I do want to say one thing. That scene made me think of, like, it was Ghostbusters 2, and you start to see the Statue of Liberty coming in from the distance, and you find out that they're
the obviously motion, like the animated like, it's an actress in like a lot of makeup too. Like, it's just that coming in from the distance like this. That's all it made me think of. Like, because what they have to do with that stuff is they have to kind of, first of all, it is a form of green screen, right? Or blue screen even.
Yeah.
And the actress comes in from the distance, and of course the mismatch between, like, at the time, because of what they're trying to do, like the film stock of the people in the street and the film stock of the actress, they're like on different speeds and different lighting and whatever. But I thought they did a really good job, which we'll see here in a second. This is something that we did, like, while I was editing. I was like, oh my god, I can do this really quick. I can get the scene where we see the hot air balloon in the distance. And I was just thinking to myself, what if I took this and I put the music to the Rainbow Connection, and this is what I came up with. I'm actually gonna, as the music comes on, I'm gonna actually lower it, see if we don't get dinged.
Hey, I told you we'd find a way.
Did you find a road?
Roads are not a necessary ingredient to this journey.
Can you still hear it though?
A little bit, yeah. Enough.
Yeah, let's commentary on it so that we can actually not get dinged.
Oh my god.
Does it match
the expressions on their face go so well with the song too, like
exactly. And then you see beer.
I can picture them as Muppets.
And Leah, look at the expressions of the people on the ground too.
Yeah. Like so hopeful.
Someday they'll find it. Rainbow connection. The dreamers and me.
Oh my gosh.
Morgan was Capper.
I know. I wanted Morgan to like roll his eyes and be like, "What the?"
This isn't what I had in mind.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
But all right, I'll go for it. I'll go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. Imagine Morgan right there. He's just kind of like, wow. But also he's kind of impressed. Like, kind of like, Rick is never gonna believe this. Like, he's like,
right? I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't watching it right now.
Meanwhile, Rick keeps on getting injured in the same goddamn spot on his body. That little patch right here.
Right?
And his hand, he always hurt the same hand.
Yeah, like always trolling the audience. Like, will we take the hand off this year?
Yeah.
How about this year?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Winslow / the RV / everything. You know what? Let's go on that, because imagine Morgan seeing every time Rick gets injured and goes, "Oh my god, again, dude."
Yeah.
Like, just as equally unbelievable as a beer bottle balloon in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, this is funny to me, but
every time I see Kim Dickens being asked that question, she goes, "Oh, wow." Kim Dickens, because I'm trying to sound like her a little bit. Like, "Oh, it's great playing her, but like nonchalant, right?" But the reason why what you said is so funny is like, imagine she's like really f***ed up in the head about it,
right? I would be like
just flips. It's like, well, I don't know.
Totally calm in the public.
She's like, she has her hands in her back pockets. It's like, just try to prevent from killing y'all. She's restraining herself.
I show, bitch.
What? Well, I keep hating to answer this question. Imagine she okay, there's a camera behind her. It's like, I don't know. Like, the camera in front of her, camera behind her. It's like, and then like she turns around and she whips her out. She's like, but I will. Come on.
It's like just like
the most raunchy up thing that she could say.
Just gonna fuck them all in the pussy. Anyway, so terrible. No, every interview she answers the exact same way every single time she's asked this question too, and it's just like, oh my god,
about being killed off.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you see her coming back? Did you like playing?
Oh god,
Clark? And it's the exact same. Well, I don't know. It's like I like being mad. She was a strong female character.
I love your impression of Kim Dickens.
Same, because it sounds nothing like her. But it's like the intonation, but it's like not at all the way she sounds. But in the same way every single time, and it's just like, oh my god, she's really fucked up about it, isn't she? like she must be.
She's got to keep her happy face on.
Right, like the professional actor, is best face forward. Not to denigrate the people that actually paid me and stuff. So.
Yeah, but also imagine being asked that question
so many times by fanboys.
Yeah, like, oh my god, can we just move on, please?
Right. Meanwhile, the only reason why she's there is, interviewing is because of her role in this franchise too, probably.
I think she's fine. She's done projects since being off Fear. I mean, it's not like she's missing out on work.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm still waiting to watch the Briar Patch. Sometimes I don't like these interviews too. Like, you don't want to ask the same question, at least in the same way. You kind of want to say it differently, or I don't know.
What someone should ask her is, what has been your favorite role so far? And if she says Madison, that may gauge how messed up she is about not being that character anymore.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a hard question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then you know what? A lot of actors do the cop-out answer. Like, all of them are really great.
All of them. How could I possibly pick one?
They're all different in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to each role I've had.
Unless you're like Robert Downey Jr., he can just be like, Tony Stark, man.
Yeah, Tony Stark. Why not? Yeah.
I mean, made billions, dude. Huh.
Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining Madison, Kim Dickens and Tony Stark in the same. Yeah, Madison. I'd be Madison. I'd be great. Yeah, I have a son, I have a daughter. Great. Yeah.
Well, maybe she thought the character was going to last longer than what she lasted.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Yeah, I mean, of course she did. Yeah, because she was led to believe that it would be. But yeah.
Well, when you're the star of a show, you kind of expect to, be there till the end, and she wasn't. So I wonder if they had ever planned on having her through the entire series, or if if they were always going to kill her off.
So what I'm hoping Madison, or the idea of Madison is, it's one thing to have a character die and not be mentioned again, which is terrible. But like sometimes people can be symbols, The idea of no one's gone till they're gone, or the idea of, being one way and then learning to be another way. I don't know how that's going to play out in season 6, because I think people are going to be pushed to I don't know, be something even either worse or better. I have no idea, but I have a feeling, just like we were joking about seeing the hallucination of Zombie Madison, Alicia sees the hallucination of Zombie Madison. I think something like that may come back. Like the idea of Madison may still come into this season somehow with Alicia, especially like now that she has maybe sort of like a daughter figure in Charlie in a weird way. Because I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, I think they are in the same scene together. We're taking out walkers.
Alicia and Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alicia, Charlie, and Janice.
Oh, okay.
Alicia and Charlie were in a season 6 still together, but I'm not sure about Janice.
Oh no, okay. I definitely saw. I wasn't sure about Charlie, but I was definite about Janice, or was it Holly Curran?
But there was still Charlie and Alicia standing out like in some wood, and there's a bunch of dead walkers around them. But it's definitely Charlie and Alicia.
Oh, okay. So the still that I'm thinking of is Alicia in a jumpsuit, and they're killing walkers. And that's with Janice, and I think Charlie's there.
This is with Charlie and Alicia, and they're in like regular clothes, and they're out in the woods, and there's a bunch of dead walkers laying around them.
Gosh, okay.
Maybe that's after they escape Virginia's grasp.
Exactly.
Only 2 weeks until we find out.
Ooh, gosh.
Oh man, I'm trying not to get too excited. Like, I really want to just like surprise myself and be like, "It's tomorrow."
That's literally me. We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. This is on the heels of that.
I feel like we said this before. What if the big bad is Madison?
She was initially, when it was the first showrunners, she was supposed to become the biggest bad of all at the end of the series.
Dave Erickson.
That was how they were going to end the show.
I think that was a joke, though.
And then they threw that notion, obviously, out the window when the new showrunners came in. So it's...
Oh, you're talking about the ones before... It was the guy before...
the one who created... Yeah, before Chambliss and Goldberg. He was saying that Madison was supposed to become the big bad.
This would be the way. But, like, I'm talking about now, though. Like, what if...
It's totally possible. I think one of us has mentioned it in the past.
And what if, like, she's so bad that they need Matt Frewer? Like, they need Logan to join them.
I would be for that, because then we get to see her die again.
That is such an evil, like, smirk on your face right now.
The rest of the chat, like, a lot of people from the chat are, like, with, like, if Madison came back. Now, Miss Mazel, seeing this scenario that I put up, would you be interested in seeing... Yeah, she's like, oh, Dave. I'm like, yeah. What if Madison was the big bad we had to get rid of?
The big bad. I'd be cool to see that.
I think big bad... See, the thing about big bads on The Walking Dead, like a Negan, is that they're not always meant to be toppled, though. However, there's so much interplay here that, like, what if this was one of those scenarios where you're facing somebody that you have history with that you don't want to get rid of? I mean, normal people don't want to get rid of. But what if you're put in a situation where you have to? Or
like
what if
Shane too?
What if it goes to the slogan, no one's gone till they're gone? What if we have to test that? That is fun. That'd be really great cool. Story. What if all this development led to having to deal with this situation? What have we learned? And that's why I think it's good to have slow, quote unquote, filler episodes.
What are we saying Madison would have been doing this whole time, though? Like, if she's the big bad,
replenishing her armies. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot, because there's a lot of time that's passed.
We need like 2 episodes to find out what Madison's been doing.
You know what? I was thinking about that before we broadcasted today, and I was thinking to myself, like, so many people want this person's backstory and that person's backstory, and I'm for it, but I'm also like not. I'm for it, like, it passively.
Obviously, she didn't end up being the big bad. And the big Virginia, the big bad wolf. What do you think of Dave Erickson's plan originally to make Madison like the enemy? Because I'm actually okay with what Andrew Chambliss and Ian Goldberg did about, I mean, not killing her off. Whatever. I have issues with that. Like, especially after Frank Delane wanted to leave. Okay, why wouldn't you change your plan just a little bit? You know, that's one too many people. But then Erickson's idea about making Madison the enemy seems just a bit off to me. And like ultimately, how do you turn your protagonist into the ultimate enemy? Like, I like the idea and concept. But how do you accomplish that?
I think I could think of a few ways to. I mean, they had their chance when Charlie killed Nick for Madison to turn evil and bad. That would have triggered a mother, I think, into being a villain. Honestly, I can't say for sure, but I feel like I almost would have liked the Madison character more if she were a bad guy.
Me too.
It just seemed like she was always a bad guy, though.
Yeah, from the beginning. I mean, she was like, she's all tough and
she tends to like gravitate towards the villains too. I mean, she almost instantly formed that creepy bond with Troy,
but only in as much as to protect her kin, that sort of thing. Like, let me see how I can manipulate this guy. And then be on the safe side.
See, that's not what I saw. I didn't see that. I saw her truly connecting more with Troy than her own children. That's what I saw.
I saw that too. Yeah.
I interpreted that way differently. Way differently.
But that's why everybody's got a different opinion. Yeah. And that's part of the reason I didn't like her. I always felt like Madison didn't care enough for her children. I felt like she would say, I'm doing this for my kids, but then her actions would completely contradict that.
Yeah, there was the one thing that only made me pause was that, like, I don't know any mother that would be, well, I don't know, but I'm biased, but like, I don't know any mom would be okay with their children like leaving, doing whatever and coming back in this kind of world.
Right.
But, that being said, this is why her character is so interesting, is because, or interesting in that, like, letting their kids go off to come back. Maybe she knew. That's the thing. She has such a really interesting grasp on what their expectations of her children were. When Nick left and he was gone for an extended period of time, it's only at that point where she actually started like going, oh man, what if he's out there? What if he's out there? What's happening? What's going on? That's the only time I saw her. And we've seen where Madison has this like uncanny attachment to Nick rather than anybody else, because she's always had to worry about him.
And right? Alicia feels that too.
Right.
She says it on a few occasions.
Like, what about me?
We can see that in her face, like, the very beginning in season 1 when Nick's all screwed up with drugs and she's always going, to take care of Nick, and Alicia's just like, oh, there you go again.
Right.
What about me?
I always chalk that up to her being a therapist, though. Like, it's always the therapist's kids that suffer the most.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
makes absolute sense.
They're like the worst parents. Which is why I like the show. I like the show because of that. Like, it made sense to me.
That she would be a terrible mother?
Well, not like a terrible mother, but it shows the screwed upness, like that screwed upness that will happen in families like that.
Yeah. I guess we can say the Clarks are probably the most real family, right? Because they're screwed up, they have flaws. Even the mom's not perfect. Well, far from it.
I mean, she lied about, how their father died.
And how bad was that? But yeah, I mean, and that shows how screwed up she is in a real way. All right, so let's continue with this clip because this is going to be absolutely hilarious.
What happens? Oh my fucking god!
Yes,
it fell on my knee. Okay, it's not my fault.
I'm dying. You witnessed me die here.
Where did you see it?
It was behind you. And where is it? It's behind you with a knife.
It's on my laptop. Okay, so really quickly. So merely the cork that opens the bottle, and then information starts to flow slowly. From that point on, motherfucker.
I gotta show you how big this thing is too.
It's huge.
If I can. Think of a mosquito. Multiply it by 3.
There look like 30 mosquitoes. Oh
my god, whoa.
Oh, I remember I was dying watching this.
And it got
Me
cut out.
too.
Yeah, we had to make a clip of it because I think we cut it out of the edit. It was like, fuck this. This is not going in. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Like I hit it. I honestly, the weird part is I hit it and it just went dormant. And so I was able to scoop it up. Like it wasn't smashed or anything. I was able to scoop it up and like hold. You could just see the whole thing. You know? Oh,
so you like
so gross.
punched a mosquito? Dave punched a mosquito.
No, I just kind of went like with my 2 fingers, went tap, and it just died. It just, I gave it the 5-finger death punch or something.
Nice.
Where
It's very like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He wants what they have with Sherry, and I think he wants it right now, you know. But I also see a little bit of hope, like, you know, they've been through some shit, and he's heard the way they talk to each other, and you know, if they can do it, you know, if they can have it, why can't he? You know, there's reason to stay hopeful, I think.
Right.
And he's been on this path for so long, at least over a year.
Yeah.
So why stop now at this rate?
I just hope that when he does find Sherry, I mean, she already said, you know, stop looking for me. So when he does find her, because I think he will, I think we'll find Sherry. You know, how is she going to react to him? Is she going to be excited to see him or no?
Right.
So I kind of have a feeling that she's not, and that's going to crumble him, and he's going to go through some like Morgan shit. He's going to
I'm kind of feeling that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even in my notes I said like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
This is what has kept him alive for so long. That has been his purpose. That's what driven him for so long. And you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's kind of like, and yeah, it gives me the opportunity to kind of bring up something that Milani said. Was like, you know, Sherry did get Dwight to steal Daryl's bike, you know, and she said like she never thought about it until now. And could it have been that Sherry was always putting him in these kinds of positions only to kind of make him like the person that suffers? Like, okay, I'll handle the situation. You just stay on the sidelines and be a good boy.
Good point.
So does this mean I was right about Sherry might being the big bad?
I think we all had felt that too. Like we all had a feeling that maybe.
Oh, there goes my moment.
I'm still really feeling that.
You can claim it. That's fine. But
I'm still really feeling that. If Sherry's, I'm going to go ahead and say she is the big bad. But if not, she's at least with the big bad.
Yeah. Because why? I know I said this before, but why else has she not been around this whole time? Why hasn't she been trying to find him?
I see you.
Instead of leaving these little like, you know, Easter egg hunts or like, no.
Yeah, she could have been looking for him too.
But no, she's being jealous and sending him on a wild goose chase.
Tom says,
it's Madison's fault.
No, what if Sherry is Madison?
Stop it.
She's got like a whisperer mask.
Take off the Sherry mask.
Surprise, bitches!
I would have gotten away with it too.
Mesky kids and that Morgan too.
Wait.
Damn Morgan.
It's so goofy.
That's what I mean. Lenny Jones, I'm really sorry.
No, it was great.
I'm just imagining her coming on the show and be like, I don't like you people. Don't like you one bit.
But Momo.
Go fuck yourself, you.
Fuck you.
That bitch broke my stick.
Wait, now if you don't understand the reference though, like Morgan. So Lenny as Morgan is having this character is having this conversation with Alicia. I think in the first episode when they get to the rest stop, when they're trying to find Logan, like Logan sends them on the wild goose chase. They're and they're having this heart to heart about like, you know, what they've been able to accomplish, and Alicia's kind of losing her faith, and Morgan's saying you can't do it all on your own. You have to open the door to possibility. And she goes, but what if I don't know how? And then Morgan, you know, he lets out this like, I don't know. And we talk about it in the episode, and so I'm bringing it back here, like when you're talking about the Scooby-Doo moment, and it stuck with me ever since. Like what if that was like Lenny James's like improvised moment, like where he goes, I don't fucking know, like, I can't get that laugh that out of my head. I'm surprised it never comes up more often, and like when we're talking about it. But like these two moments are so, oh my god! I'm surprised that it make the first clip. Like when we're talking about the first episode, I can't remember why. Like why I chose one over the other. I'm crying now.
What if Sherry's mad?
But let's get serious here because I saw Sherry nodding about what if Sherry's the big bad. What do you have to say about that, Sharon D?
I mean, I don't think she's the big bad. Obviously, Virginia is, but I was nodding because Rachel commented maybe she's the big bad or she's with the big bad, and I was like, yeah, that's what it is. She's with the big bad. I don't know. I think that she and Dwight are going to be together. I think she's going to be happy to see him. I think there's something else going on there. Like maybe the only reason she's not is because she's worried about him being in with the settlers, or maybe they are knowing what they know after being with Negan. Maybe they're the ones that start a resistance. Maybe they get back. Maybe they hook up in the settler compound and they start the resistance because they know what Virginia's like, having dealt with Negan.
Right.
So Sharon, when we find Sherry, do you think she'll be more of a prisoner / captive, held against her will, or do you think she'll be sort of a compliant member until she sees Dwight, and then all of a sudden maybe go, oh shit, what am I doing?
I would think that she is a compliant member until she sees Dwight.
Okay.
Because otherwise it would be very hard to live in settler compound if you weren't compliant. They just kill you.
Yeah. I mean, she could be working against her will just to survive.
But, right. So I think maybe she's like, hey, I'm here. I might as well fit in. I told Dwight, stop looking for me. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But then she does see Dwight, and maybe that kind of triggers them to start a resistance against Virginia.
I feel like if she can be one of Negan's wives, whatever Virginia's asking her to do is nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
Which is why I actually kind of go opposite you guys, because I know listen, from what I know, from what you guys have talked to me about throughout like the comics world, I know that Sherry actually becomes this crazy badass.
Kinda.
To the point where
for like a minute.
Right. Well, because of how she goes in the comics,
which is so bad.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's not even worth mentioning because it'll never happen. But here's what I can see, though. I can see a world in which Sherry becomes this badass, like because of her experience with Negan and because of her experience with Sherry. Now, I don't think she's going to resist, but I think is like she's going to want to take over, and then like you know how sometimes when you beat the man, you get to be the man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like after living in the shadow and or under the boot of these people, she wants a taste of power. And you could always, and this is something that kind of what dovetailing about what Lonnie says is like she always had these tendencies to like more than to survive, we need to thrive, and maybe taking what's not yours is a means to get that end, right? But like in like maybe a refined Sherry is kind of like, well, all's fair in love and war, and I'm gonna do something that, you know, maybe a bridge too far for Dwight, you know, and maybe Dwight goes along with it, which he kind of does in the comic a little bit, until a certain point where Sherry gets away from him, which is kind of like why I'm saying all that glitters is not gold, right? Like that, you know, the thing you were looking after is something that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dwight's very much you know, stand by your woman kind of man, no matter what.
Because that's what kept him going. It's what made him, allowed him to do shitty things. It was like, if I'm doing shitty things, it keeps her safe.
I'm very interested to see the pairing between Dwight and Althea this season coming up. I mean, we know there can't be any romantic thing there, so that's probably the best pairing. And I'm interested to see the dynamic between Dwight, Sherry, and Althea.
Althea just going ham on Sherry, like, where have you been? What's been up? What'd you go through? Like, maybe we find out about her past through these, like, maybe short clips from Althea's videos of Sherry. With Gimple as chief content officer, too, by the way. This is why I think. Like, ultimately, they may go the road of the comics, but through just a weird, very more different, clever path. Same resistance, different people, and definitely different outcome, too. This is a special. So now we're in between seasons, and Meg has a problem.
I literally want the first movie to start at the moment the helicopter picks Rick up.
Yes.
Yeah. You know they won't. It's gonna be like in medias res. It's gonna be like in the middle of everything.
Cool, though?
That way.
You know,
I think that's
smooth
a
transition.
I think they're not going to do that.
No, because you wanted to start like action packed, get you hooked immediately. So they're going to start it in the middle and then work their way back.
Yeah, because you want to break people's brain. Like, hey, wait, where are we? What's going on? Where in time are we? Wait, why does he look like that?
And then you start absorbing the information more and more because you want to figure out where you are, why we're doing this. Who are these people?
How psyched out would you be if it opens up with him in a hospital bed again, waking up?
That'd be awesome.
That is perfect. That would be
perfect. Or something similar to that.
Like just waking up, and like looking around again and being like, "Fuck."
It's like a Bob Dylan show.
And they're like flowers near his bedside.
Like messed up shit. Yeah. Just to really mind fuck you.
I think Meg nailed it on the head. Honestly, I think it'll start in the middle somewhere, and then it'll backtrack to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just talk about about it. Chris's idea really got in my head though, like, but not like waking up in the hospital bed, like for real, but more like kind of like the way season 8, with the Owl Festival. That was the Owl Festival mind fuck. What was great about that is that it mimicked a little bit what went on in the hospital. Like he looks around, looks at the watch, looks at, I don't know if he saw flowers in that dream sequence, but so I like that idea for the movies. Like, why don't they sort of do the same thing? It looks like a hospital bed. Instead of a hospital bed, maybe it's like a therapy bed, or you look around, you see similar items, or like he's looking in the same way as he did in the hospital, but completely different setting, completely different context, not injured, but maybe mentally, I don't know, incapacitated, or maybe I don't know, but something similar to that.
If he was already healed, that would be a good indication of a significant amount of time passing as well.
Yeah, and how is he going to look like too? That's a whole other ball of wax too.
Uh-oh.
This guy's interesting.
So this is Peter Jacobson.
Oh yeah,
the dude from House and other things.
Is he in a tuxedo?
It looks like it.
He looks
Tuxedo.
yeah.
Okay, it's missing the tie.
He does look dressed up.
Or maybe not a tuxedo, maybe like just a blazer.
Wait, hold up. Also, I need to back this up for a sec.
Looks like he's looking for somebody.
Is he wearing a yarmulke?
No, I don't know.
No,
I mean,
maybe.
He might be.
Right? Yeah, now I kind of
Wow.
Oh, like look at
Right?
the very, very top.
Well,
Our
now you
first
can see
Jewish
pretty
character
clearly.
on The Walking Dead, right?
I'm sure somebody else has been Jewish. He just probably didn't.
Huh. This was interesting. I couldn't tell if he was holding the door shut or, like Ashley said, looking for somebody.
He looks like he's looking for somebody.
Yeah.
Morgan butt touching.
Did you remember that comment?
It's a synagogue. Okay, you know how I know?
Yes.
Okay, I did not
No.
see that. So this is called a Ner Tamid. This is a light that's always on, no matter what. Boom, boom.
Oh,
There's
like
this is a
electric?
menorah.
See, I can't even see that.
Yeah,
Maybe this is where we run into Peter Jacobson.
That's right. He is Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Looking into the church. Maybe it's kind of like Father Gabriel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What if he killed all those people?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Exactly. Like
Oh
he
my
locked
God.
all of his I don't know if it's called like parishioners. I don't know what it's called. He locked all his people in. I don't know this. I'm not religious.
I think it depends on the religion.
Yeah.
So we locked a bunch of people
No, you
in
could
the
call them parishioners. It's just funny how you were awkward about it.
I know.
The people who attend the service.
Look,
Yeah.
he's in a building. They died. Boom. That's how they
Okay,
are.
and then they go this
Yeah,
way.
I
and
am
then
calling
they
that
walk
out.
this.
This looks sketchy.
Careful there.
And this is
Look a
where
little
Holy cow.
R-rated.
So you guys go to the left-hand side. I'm going to throw the ball all the way down.
and then they carry the Torah over here, and then they circle back here, and then they put
We're
it
gonna
back
get a
inside.
field goal.
Okay, and then exactly, touchdown, yeah. That's what we do.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
And break.
Yeah, but I'm pretty psyched. See, I didn't pay attention. See, I saw his yarmulke, I saw his kippah, as they say, and then I was just kind of like, what is that? And then there's the synagogue. That's pretty fun.
It's all tying together.
It's all coming together. It is kind of funny. Like, have we seen Jews in the Walking Dead universe at all thus far? I don't think.
If they
I mean, they
have,
could
they just
have
haven't
been,
established. They haven't. It's not like they're like, oh, hey, I'm Jewish.
But
you
not
know?
as a
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
you know?
Because religion doesn't really matter in the
Right.
apocalypse.
Well,
No, it doesn't.
shouldn't it matter the most in these times?
You'd think, but like,
Survival matters.
I mean, you'd seen so much shit that, like, why would you have faith?
Yeah.
And people discussed that. They butt heads when, was it Four Walls and a Roof? Was that what
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
they kind of discussed that a lot.
Fun.
Yeah, and there's a yarmulke.
There it is.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
Charlie.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. It's
Is
Peter
that a
Jacobson
yarmulke?
right there.
Oh, yeah, that is.
That's a yarmulke.
Yeah.
It's a gray one.
That's a Charlie.
This is Charlie for sure.
Yeah,
you can tell by
the
the
hair.
hair.
And this is the synagogue, I think, too. From a
Yeah.
different angle.
I think you're right. The glass looks similar.
The stained glass.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting moment. And even better when we actually reached the episode called Ner Tamid, which is kind of cool too. I saw you like laughing, Sharon, dude, because like I titled this thing TWD Universe's first Jewish character, but like as we find out near the almost the end of the season, like Sarah's been Jewish the whole time.
Yeah.
The second.
Yeah, it's such a
Possibly the first, though, is
yeah, exactly. Technically the first. And I titled that in the episode description, but I like when we find out, that's when we find out first. And so I don't know, technically this, technically that. So
As I was watching this, knowing that Sarah is Jewish, I couldn't stop thinking of, if there was like a conversation there, like, oh, he's Jewish, and Jeannie being in that conversation and going like, I'm Jewish.
oh my
It doesn't
God, can you
matter.
imagine?
Yeah, that's what was going in my mind. Her face, like, I'm Jewish.
Which, by the way,
And-
do you remember when she says the stone soup parable? Like stone soup, sucking on a stone. That whole thing. That's a Jewish parable too, by the way.
Yeah.
Stone
So it was
soup
like,
parable.
Ginny just going, I'm Jewish. It doesn't matter.
It's like you know all about having to pray in groups, so like, be part of the group, which is it's actually a thing. Like there's an extra special thing for praying in groups of 10, which is called a minyan. So it's a better thing to do to pray in groups. But yeah, that stone soup parable is like an old I think Hungarian or Polish like Jewish settlement. They're running out of food and they drop the stones in the soup to make it look like it's fuller. And so everybody feels like when they're eating they feel fuller because they see it and there's like a genuine like people congregating, and just trying to make do, which is basically kind of what Ginny is doing in a way. She's trying to make it seem as though things are getting better.
Whereas our group is determined to show the absolute truth no matter what.
Yeah.
As we find out later, where they film everything. Oh, you may not want to film that. No, we need to show everybody exactly what's really going on.
Yeah, I love that. And we end up talking about that too, which is great. And this clip is gold.
Validating what I'm thinking is the reaction. The reaction from most people were losing their minds. People were saying things that didn't make sense. They were saying things like, "Whoa, we're gonna see Rick soon," and I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not. You're not."
We learned from that
In fact,
trailer.
by the way, this confirms that you're not gonna see him for at least 2 years, about 2 years, and they got so upset with it.
I feel like the only piece of information that we learned from this trailer is that it's coming to theaters. That is literally they did not.
Yeah, but that's a big thing.
She was so upset by
They
this.
could have mentioned it, like, oh yeah, by the way, boom, it's coming to theaters.
Yeah, but you could have mentioned it.
Yeah.
But then you didn't have CG and a helicopter to do it with, like, as a vehicle.
Yeah,
but it is the reaction. It is people lost their rational mind for an extended period of time as a result of seeing this. Like,
for like at least a day, I saw it.
I saw days, and I'm like, holy shit! Should I chime in? Should I bust their bubble?
Do it.
And I did it a couple times, and I regret. I think we lost followers as a result.
We might have lost followers,
but that's
because
not
the
the point. The fact
Fuck
that
them, they're
people lost
stupid.
their minds is like, okay,
Eat 'em.
they did the right move. Like, it doesn't tell us
Eat 'em,
anything
right.
because then we have to clear the record on air. Like, you're not seeing Rick for another year and a half. I'm sorry.
Especially since he's filming another movie right now.
But I don't mind telling people. Yeah, I just saw that too.
Yeah, I just saw the picture today.
Oh my gosh.
Is it? Do you really think it's another movie, or do you think it's this movie?
No, it's another movie.
It's
This
another
movie isn't even
It's
finished.
got Naomi Watts in it.
Yeah, I saw the picture of him on set, and I was like, Shh, whatever, keep, trying to trick us. We all know he's filming the Walking Dead movie.
It's called Penguin Bloom. It's him and Naomi Watts. They play a married couple. A family takes in an injured magpie that makes a profound difference in their lives.
Amina?
If you go on his IMDb, there's 2 upcoming projects: Penguin Bloom and Untitled: The Walking Dead movie. There's Penguin. Those are the only 2 upcoming.
That's the working
Okay.
title. The movie's actually called Grocery Money. Guys gotta eat. This Walking Dead movie ain't coming out for a while.
I love how Meg just didn't get it.
I get it.
Right?
By the way, I cut
I gotta
the
pay my
extended
bills.
period
Yeah.
of time where she didn't get
Royalties
it.
from the
This is
show
called
that
utility bills.
until this
Do you know
movie
where he lives?
On
Go to the
Ride,
grocery
you
store for
see where
him
he lives.
would be very expensive. Then again, I don't know if he's buying the groceries. Exactly the point.
He can't pay his butler. Come on, man. No, so it's like I just love how much of a hard time she had with like this reveal. Meg doesn't get fundamental marketing. You can't just tell people that it's going to be a full feature. You have to show them appearing in theaters in 2023 or something like 2022. Then you see the helicopter going. Like, come on, man, you got to make a thing of it, But she was having a hard time with it. I'm like, dude, but you have to get our hopes up. Like, yes, we have to get your hopes up like that. We want you to lose your fucking mind. We want you to lose your fucking mind.
I see where she was coming from, though, honestly. Like, if you're going to put out a movie trailer, like, put some meat in it. There was absolutely nothing in that trailer.
Yeah.
Trailer. It wasn't even a trailer.
That's the whole point. It got you talking. That you
For
don't
like a minute.
No, some of these people were like, people are still like saying, when are we, you know what? Actually, no, you're right. But it took them like a year to stop talking about the movies. Oh, maybe we'll see this. Maybe we'll see that. Oh, it's soon. It's coming. And then the pandemic hit. And then actually,
Yeah.
when the pandemic hit, everybody stopped talking about it.
That's true.
Sort of like in the realm of like, oh yeah, spring of 2021. Like, no, they haven't even written the movie up yet, man. Like,
See,
come on.
the movie's another one of those things that I will get excited for when I can say, I'm going to see it tomorrow.
No, I'll get more.
Until then,
I'll get more excited. I'll have a bit better idea of when we'll see Rick again once they've started filming, which they haven't done yet. They haven't started filming yet.
Do they even have a script?
That's what I'm saying. I think,
you know, that's why I'm like not excited at all when I jump on this. Is there even a movie? Because if there is not a script, there is no movie yet.
Yeah, I think
you know what? Die Hard was started with only 3 pages of script, and then they wrote the rest of the movie during filming. So they got this.
And rewrote.
Don't need a full script to start a movie.
Right.
I almost wish that they had never mentioned the movie, because now everything in The Walking Dead is measured by how it's going to fit into the movie. Everything.
You're so right.
That's a good point. Something to think about.
How is that going to fit in movies? I don't care. You know, for what it is, and not worry about how it's going to fit in the movies. Oh, I mean, it just drives me crazy. Every review, everything I read is like, oh, this happened. How's it going to fit in the movies? Maybe they want fan ideas about what to do in the movie, so they're putting it out there so to have all these series. But it drives me crazy. Enjoy the show for its merits, not about how it's going to fit into the movies.
You're absolutely right.
This is where I come in, because I'm not worried about that. Which, okay, yes, it is annoying.
I find myself doing it, though. I mean...
Yeah, but only subtly, because what people have to understand about a movie and how you're going to get people to theaters, there's something about that movie that has to appeal to a wide audience, or else why fucking bother? You're not... Why would you create a movie that only your niche fans would go to? Like, yes, you do have the audience, right? But you're going to want to do something that, first of all, I mean, and this is going to be the hardest part about this movie, you're going to have to make it so that an average person can go in, watch the movie, and it stands alone. How do you do that without catching them up in some form or fashion, right? There's going to be some retreading, at least in some sort of narrative way. So they're going to tell us things that we already know.
Basically what Gimple said.
At the same time, somehow make it even better for people who know the material, which again, that's going to be really tough. But what I mean by all of this is to say that, yes, there may be some things that play in, right? It's kind of like, okay, this is exactly what it is. But think of it in reverse, how the Avengers movies spawned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gave you something standalone. Like, you didn't need to see the movies to really appreciate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, well.
No, but for the most part, they did reference here and there the events of the movies. But like, you didn't need to see them to really get it. They kind of tread over it. But even that is like a side piece to the.
And they'll fill in the information that you need from the movie if you didn't see it. That's why I think it's going to focus on just what Rick's been doing.
Right. Well, and then tell another story. So this is what I'm trying to say is, don't get too annoyed with writers who think, oh, they're going to like cram it in kind of thing. And like, no. You don't know anything about movies then, because movies have to have, first of all, it's like a book. Movies like that, they have to have a beginning and a closing, whereas the show has an arc over several episodes or several seasons. No, movies have to have a definitive start and a definitive, even if there are sequels.
Baby.
Why is she crying though?
That baby's got too much hair to be a newborn, so.
You've never seen a newborn with a lot of hair?
Yeah. I don't think it's a newborn. Newborns can have a lot of hair though.
Yeah,
well, it was one thing the baby's wearing clothes, so it's not like the baby's just born. I'm gonna guess this one here is roughly 2 to 3 months old. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm agreeing with.
Yeah.
No,
younger
maybe
than
closer
3
to
months.
2.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely younger than 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. No, because I know some people in the chat were saying like the shot was when she just gave birth, and that can't be.
That makes no sense.
No, babies don't come out with a shirt on.
That's.
I can confirm that. Babies are not born with clothes.
That'd be a rough birth too.
I have personal experience, but my mother assured me that I was not born with clothes. I guess babies are technically born with skin suits, right? Because they're in the, I don't know anything about babies, I don't have one, but they're in the amniotic sac or whatever, and then that's technically skin, so they're born in skin suits, right?
Yeah, they're born whisperers.
What happens if you're pregnant and the baby dies inside of you? Does it turn into a walker and like claw its way out?
Yes. Have you not seen that movie? The new Dawn of the Dead?
No, what?
Oh.
I say new because they did that remake, which shouldn't have been a remake because the only similarity is that it took place in a mall.
Yeah, yes, I remember.
It was horrible. But yeah, there was a pregnant woman on there and the baby died inside of her.
You know, I had a Reddit discussion with somebody who actually asked this question. And the thing about it is walkers are determined by desire, but they're also determined, their motor skills are from learned behavior. Well, a baby, all it knows is nothing. And so I said, best case scenario, you may have a baby that just cries forever. I mean, best case scenario, worst case scenario, all it does is this forever. You're talking about a baby that's in utero, depending on how far along. It has these like paper thin, like almost rubbery nails. Like it's only until like a week, like a couple weeks later where they're kind of that razor sharp thing going on. And depending on how long it is in utero, they might not have fingernails at all, you know? And so there's that. Then there's the brain development. So even then it's like, what happens? You know, it has no learned motor function skills. So all it can maybe do is this.
It would still feel hungry. I feel
yes.
I feel like zombies feel hunger, and that's why they're just looking for food. That's the only thing they feel.
But hunger. It has the id, but it doesn't have the wherewithal, the learned behavior from the neocortex to like know how to get it. So it's not going to grab for anything. It's just going to just go like this forever, like mimicking what was in utero. And everybody from that Reddit thread, it was like, that's sad.
Right?
Or terrified if all it knew what to do was cry, because they don't know how to cry until they're out.
Right.
You know? And then that's the only thing they know how to express. But if they were in, but can you imagine that the best case scenario I say? Like where all it does is cry forever.
That'd be terrible.
God, put that shit down. Unborn alarm clocks, like forever. That's hell.
Oh my God. Alarm clock.
That's the clip.
For people to kind of walk in and see this tape and see what they can do to help, etc. And basically, when you watch the episode, you have to make note of what they say in the beginning of the tape, that they watch, and then what at the end of the tape, because it's also for us as viewers. Because the one big critique about this season has been, what the fuck is it about helping people? Like, this isn't what The Walking Dead is about. You help people, you die. You know, like, right?
Yeah, that's been the mantra of The Walking Dead.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so the whole point of my saying this is that this episode is kind of an answer to that critique in a way, because you see them evolve from just helping people to absolve themselves from their sins and whatever, to actually changing and tweaking things around. Like the more they help others, the more they actually kind of the answers morph into something where like them admitting that they need help with things. Like a large amount of them are admitting to themselves, oh, all this time I was giving help to others, but not realizing that I kind of need help. You know what I mean? Like, I need help saying goodbye. I need help finding my path. You know, I need help figuring out how to make this world as much as it was the last world, that sort of thing. So each person morphs from the beginning of the video to the end of the video, and so that's kind of what I really liked about the tape, is because it not only wasn't as it was intended, which was an accounting of their capabilities. Like, we can help you. Here's a demonstration. No, it became more than just that. You could see a discovery of themselves in this one video, and that's what I got away from this episode. Actually, like the answer or the paradigm from the beginning of the season is changing, you know, and so they're changing as a result. So like they're like evolving into different Pokemon right now, like throughout the last half of the season. In my opinion, like that's how I see it, because it's like it's not enough. I mean, we all know it's not enough, because that it's gonna eventually get you killed.
That's what I was saying before, Sharon, when we were talking about like what these videos mean and keep filming, etc. Get the ugly truth, and then you'll figure yourself out.
For me, it was like a version of I lose people, I lose myself. I help people, I help myself.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a really clever way of putting it.
The idea of like him, like I forgot to do something. Like I forgot to say goodbye to my family. Like I forgot to let this go. It's been the core thing that's destroyed me. That's made me do do things to myself that I shouldn't have done, you know, all this time. And he's like, and by the end of the episode, it's like each one of these characters is saying, help me do this, help me do that. I need help doing this. I need help letting go. I need help saying goodbye. And I'm linking this to Grace now because I think in a way helping her prepare for her end will help him say goodbye. And then right? Like he has the chance to say goodbye.
The closure he needs. Yeah.
This is like a living way of like, I have a chance to say goodbye. Like, and like probably an extended period of time for him to do that, you know? Mm-hmm. And I just had a terrible thought.
Yeah.
I just had a terrible thought. Like, what does it look like? This is so bad. What does it look like for Grace? Like, okay, so she has a brain tumor, right? What if she dies from that brain tumor? What kind of walker does she turn into? Like, I'm sorry. That's like, does she turn into a walker? Like, there's like a science here that we're not, and it's terrible.
Like, does the walker just go, ooh, like, because it doesn't know how to do things? The tumor key, like the baby. Right when you're having a serious thought about what it means to say goodbye, then I have this stupid thought about like, oh yeah, but what would brain tumor Grace look like as a walker? Because what if you die from that brain tumor, right? Like, what the fuck?
I guess what part of the brain the tumor is in.
Oh god.
If the tumor on the motor skills, then you would
you get the baby effect.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know where exactly the brain tumor is, so I'd keep her as a walker. Find out if it affects her or not as a walker.
I said, is it on the aggression?
Oh yeah, like 28 days later or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of gross.
My whole thing is that I don't think Wes is Wes.
I really
you don't think that's his name?
As it is?
I think Wes is Derek.
Derek,
his brother.
Wait, hold on.
Want to walk with me? Want to walk with me on this one?
Okay.
You have to pull me along because I'm a little slow right now. But
okay.
So why is
let me take your hands because it's clear that, and then I'll drag you kicking and screaming into my theory. Wes mentions his brother Derek, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And mentions that he kind of bit it like earlier on, right? Like early on.
Yep.
And what I'm thinking, and the bike is Derek's, quote unquote, also, or his brother. And I was just thinking, like, what if Derek assumed Wes's identity? Wes is the one who creates the actual manuscript. You know, Derek is the one who actually takes his brother's bike, Wes. And maybe even, and I'm kind of an over-under on like whether this is true. Maybe Derek, Wes, not Wes, Derek, was painting the trees at first until something happened, in honor of his brother, his brother's memory and his manuscript. And like, maybe he held onto the manuscript, something that he wrote as kind of like to honor his name, to keep him going and stuff like that. And
so the brother is actually painting the trees and wrote and then when he died,
one or the other,
who we know as Wes, came up and said, I'm
Wes.
This is me. I did that.
I wrote this. These are my trees.
Yeah.
And the reason that made me think that, and I wasn't 100% sure when I first thought it up, but like when you see the tree that, we'll call him Wes for now because that's what we know him as, but when you see the tree that Wes is at the end, it looks different than the other trees. Am I right?
Older.
It looks older.
It looks been there longer.
It looks unpainted. It's very simple. There's no flames at the bottom. There's no blue. It's done a lot more simple.
The handwriting is different,
maybe that's the original tree. Maybe that's real Wes's tree.
No, wait, as far as the flames, I thought the flame was only on Alicia's tree.
No.
I saw it on the wraparound tree too.
The wraparound tree, it was on do you remember the screenshot I took when we were about to cover the trailers?
Yeah.
And I showed you the two trees, which I guess happened to be true.
Just to kind of bookend that, I was saying also, like, not only did he, so Wes could still be Wes, let's say, right? But at the same time, Wes could have taken Derek, the concept of Derek, the idea of his brother, and said, I did the manuscript, I did so like, meaning he took on all the achievements his brother did to make him live on, or they swapped names. And Derek is he's Derek, but he's honoring his brother, Wes, that idea. I wish they played with that too, because otherwise it's just a guy and he's just a foil for everybody else. He's saying, okay, I guess I'll come along. Fuck you guys, but I'll come along. That was a fun thing at the time though too, like, because every episode we were like, oh, is he gonna tell her now? Yeah. Oh wait, they're just painting trees? Oh fuck, all right, I guess that's fine. I guess it's okay.
Kids are kind of important. I mean, kill the stupid ones, but I mean, the smart ones that can it. I mean, she's obviously gonna make it. So
I'm so uncomfortable here. By the way,
what's his face?
So uncomfortable.
The brother of the one that was in regular Walking Dead.
Dylan?
Yeah, because he's like nothing.
Kill Dylan!
Kill it? Oh my god!
So...
Wow, man.
Dylan, like, he contributes nothing. He's like Sam.
You contribute nothing.
It's a Dodson thing. What can I say?
Off to the gas chambers with you, Dylan.
Could be an age thing too. I don't know. I don't know how old he is.
Look at Judith. Look at Judith.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Look at Judith's mom.
Judith
though.
is the exception. You
Yeah,
don't.
look at Judith's mom. No,
I can't. She's dead.
Lori's not Judith's mom. Fuck Lori. It's Michonne. Michonne is Judith's mom.
Oh, I'm about to have an aneurysm.
Poor Dylan. He's got Annie to teach him how to.
I mean, like, look at
survive.
RJ. Look at
RJ's gonna get bit. I don't care.
I mean, really though. I mean, we haven't seen him training with anyone, right?
Chris?
Look at all these defense
back me up,
They're
Chris.
so useless.
I'm pretty sure RJ's gonna bite it eventually.
Why aren't they in my belly where they belong?
This is me trying
I
to
have a
salvage
very
it.
important
Oh my
statement
God.
to say.
Kids
Fuck
would probably
these-
be pretty
fuck
tender.
These kids.
Babe.
Baby, bike. We're not doing this.
I bet children would be pretty tender though.
Oh
That'd be good
boy.
meat. That'd be good meat.
It'd be a little gamey one
Where's
day.
Chris right now?
To be honest.
I need Chris.
Especially Dylan. He's got those big chubby cheeks. I'd cut it right there.
Baby.
Oh, boy.
Baby.
Oh,
Beef
everybody-
cheeks.
so you're a little hungry.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you imagine, like, on like little skewers? You wouldn't even have to take the heads off. That's like
Kid kebabs.
A little apple in the mouth, you know?
oh my god.
Oh,
This turned dark really fast.
Perfect punchline right here.
Well, I can tell you won't be on the pike. Judith.
Yeah.
What if, right?
Okay, now you're just fucked up.
I'm fucked up?
Honestly,
Meg is taking a machine gun to all these children except for Judith. And like then the second I say what if Judith, she's like, you're fucked up, dude. Like,
you're fucked up.
I'm fucked up?
After all that, I'm the one with problems.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. Listening back to that, I can see why we got into a bit of trouble.
Because us without context, because first of all, we go into that clip saying like, oh, we definitely need to procreate. It essentially has to happen. But then, kill the stupid ones, right?
Well, I mean, yes,
just
we need
kidding, too.
people.
You're like-
No, I wasn't.
You weren't talking about killing kids, were you?
Characters,
Oh, okay. What?
not children in real life.
But like this is supposed to emulate real life. This is
If it were the
revenge.
okay,
This clip is titled "Revenge of Killing Kids."
right.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
If we were really in the apocalypse and you were traversing through the forest with a screaming, crying baby, I'm sorry. You're telling me you're just
not
gonna be like,
twist its head off and what? No,
I mean, I'm not saying it would be easy, but if it came down to your life,
go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. No,
I hate to say it, but I don't even know if I could do that. Like this fills my guts with like rage just to say this out loud. But I would almost pull a whisperer and just sort of set it down.
Early on, we see Lori worrying about that. Like, what if he cries all the time and puts everyone in danger? So maybe you could just say that Lori started this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, and then we see it in effect when Lizzie and Mika have Judith, and Judith is crying, and Lizzie almost suffocates her.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember the finale of MASH when Hawkeye is having mental issues and he tries to go back and figure out what it was, and turns out that they were on a bus with a bunch of peasants in Korea, and he thought that one of the peasants had a chicken, and that the North Koreans were coming, and so the woman filled the chicken to keep it from squawking so that the North Koreans wouldn't hear it, but turned out it was a woman's baby, and he smothered. Yeah. So
yeah.
What a show!
Same concept. Yeah, for survival.
But eating children would solve the eating your pets dilemma.
And here's the shitty argument to that, right? Let me just explain the shitty argument. What do you think would taste better? This is the shitty argument. Pets or this luscious, hairless baby?
I don't know. It would all be speculation.
Not to use science, but they do say that humans taste better.
Well, especially babies, because they don't eat all the toxic stuff that we eat.
If you don't know what you're eating, you can always convince yourself it's chicken.
Yeah, I learned that very early on when I ate frog, and my grandfather told me it was chicken.
Yep. My parents
So
did the same.
Gator, alligator tail.
Oh yeah, I've had gator.
Yeah, and it really does taste just like chicken nuggets when you eat it fried.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to, but it has to be done well. Because I've had gator. At least 2 out of the 3 times I've had gator, it's been a little rubbery or a little
kind of chewy texture.
He was saying Dylan is useless. I'm sorry, that kid's walking around in forest full of walker that he helped tie up using nothing but baseball equipment. I'm pretty sure that kid is not useless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not a Sam.
Yeah, definitely not. He's like the reverse.
Way better.
It's all
The irony of all this for me is that I'm vegan. We're here talking about eating humans, but I don't even eat animals.
Okay, guys. That is my exit.
Okay, so we're gonna laugh about you behind your back when we talk about girls. Not behind your back, but like it's another Rachel funny.
Sorry, I'm used to it. All right, I really can't. Bye, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks, Rachel.
By the way, we don't know this girl's name. I did not hear it in this episode.
No, we didn't catch her name.
Yeah.
She said it doesn't matter or something like that when they asked.
The first time, right, on the radio?
Yeah.
This is Janice,
Like,
by the way.
I can't, it's not safe for me, is what she said.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason.
And now you know why.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know
She's
why?
with Girl Kobe.
Yeah.
She
Or
was
with.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that
she
she
was
called her
Girl
Girl Kobe. Which, by the way, Mo Collins calls her Ms. Colby. I'm sure she calls Colby Holman like Mr.
Mr. Colby. Yeah.
Which I
Mr.
think
and
is
Miss Colby, yeah.
way more dignified.
Yeah.
Girl Colby, guy Colby.
Girl Kobe. I was shouting it as they were riding over the edge. I'm like, Girl Kobe.
Girl Colby. By the way, I heard you in my head.
It's true.
Probably, yeah.
It's so true.
Going down the ridge, I'm like,
Is that
oh
right
yeah, it's
down?
Girl Colby. Ah, shit. She got me again.
Now I got you saying it.
Oh, which by the way, I Blazy saying this too. Like everybody calls Colby Holman Uncle Colby because of that video he posted of his niece, like pointing at the screen when he did the Instagram takeover. That's like the one bit of content that he showed until like it failed out on him and he couldn't post any more things.
Yeah,
like it showed a video of his niece watching him on the screen, and she goes, "Uncle Colby." She's like pointing out the screen, but like Blazy saying, "Yeah, just call him Uncle Colby and Aunt Colby."
Yeah, Uncle Colby, Aunt Colby.
Yeah,
too many syllables.
Too many syllables.
See what he's obviously.
I think that was the first episode I got in on.
Yeah, and maybe no. I think you were earlier, weren't you? Maybe I don't know.
Maybe the one before that. But it was towards the end of the season.
This is when they were just coming on. Girl Colby, boy Colby. But like now, it's like now that they're on the show, I'm like, am I gonna say the same thing? Am I gonna say it the same way?
Call him Wes and Jenny or Derek, if that's the way you want to go.
Or Derek, yeah, exactly. Oh God, I want that to happen so badly. Like after all these years or whatever, have a long time. It's like, listen, I have a confession to make. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind if that happens. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what?
My name's really Derek.
Yeah, I'm Wes's
I never
brother.
understood the point of like
I'm a fraud.
All identities, because I kind of wondered the same thing in Laura. Like, why are you giving everybody fake names? It's not like anybody can look you up in a database or anything,
Yeah, like a predator database or something. What was the reason behind that too? Like trying to be somebody else.
It's harder for people. I guess if you feel like if you don't give them your real name, then they don't really know you, And she didn't want to be close to anybody, so it was better for her to say, "Oh, this is my name." And then every time somebody was like, "Hey, Naomi," you could be like, "Shit, they don't fucking know me. It's not even my name," A way to keep yourself at arm's distance.
Or like to disassociate too. Like this thing, I was thinking of maybe her disassociating with herself or like not identifying with that person, right? Now that I'm thinking about like pandemic times, and we're still in them, like the reason why she felt so guilty was because she knew her daughter was sick. She didn't tell anybody. And that was the reason why they fell. And I keep seeing instances, like every now and again, I see like instances of people saying, don't tell your kid is sick. Don't tell anybody your kid is sick so the school doesn't get shut down. That's the protocol. Yeah. And I'm like thinking to myself, oh my God, a bunch of Naomi Laura Junes in the making, like the kind of thing that gets more people hurt. So I don't know. That's. And so like, why wouldn't you change your name, or why wouldn't you want to disassociate with possibly hurting other kids?
Yeah.
And then I guess John was the reason she could be herself again.
Yeah, exactly. Like to unite that part of herself and not be like, look, nobody can blame you, right? Whatever you did, you thought it was the right decision at the time.
Also, the thing with the names, like June, like she's this person. That's who she really is. She doesn't want to be that. She wants to be someone else. So if she says my name is Naomi or Laura, she can act like Naomi and Laura. She doesn't have to connect because June would connect with that person.
Which goes to something that she said with Althea when they started venturing off in the second half of Fear the Walking Dead season 4. Do you remember when they go off on their own? She was like, I don't really kind of know who I am because I presented one version of myself to John, one more version of myself to Alicia. Who am I really?
It's the story of a nobleman, or literally a nobleman, who prefers to see the world the way, not as it is, but as it could be. And that's literally the story of Fear. Like, you're talking about people who, this may be the world as it is, but we want to see things the way it could be. So, or like bring about the world the way it could be like we can be kind to each other, we can help each other, we can do one small thing, kind thing to somebody, and just make the world better. The idea of, I think I brought this idea up, but the idea of tikkun olam, which is like to heal the universe.
Oh yeah,
you just do one little thing and it just adds to the universe.
I love those little nuggets that they put in there, something so it's directly parallel to the storyline that we're seeing right now. I love that. That's attention to detail that I love.
Oh yeah, when we get to Traveling Wilburys, I'm gonna recite the lines and it'll be like, oh yeah, that's Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I needed to bring that up because
still laughing.
This is like it's like at the top. Like, what is she doing when she's listening to this audiobook? She's like taking, the whole idea.
What is she doing? Were those solar panels?
Yeah, those are solar panels.
All right.
Stuffing in the back of the truck. So it's the idea of like stuffing these solar panels into this truck with all this stuff, and all this stuff represents the way the world could be. Like, what are we packing in this truck? What we want to see in the world. Like, they're not ready for it. It's not ready for them yet. But she says it's like, for when we find a place. So she's thinking in terms of like, we'll get there. She's like creating, what is it called? Building a nest, right? Like when you and your husband got together, you had ideas of what kind of furniture you'd get, like when you moved together, right?
Eventually,
like throughout your shitty furniture.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. Hun,
no, we just had to go with what was available, but I acknowledge the point. Yeah,
at the time, yes, because after a while, you kind of want to build a nest,
Yeah. We're still working on that.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
Believe you me. I don't know why people hate on this shit so much sometimes though. Like, and it did, but it could all come tumbling down. But, this is what you're supposed to do.
I actually got a couple of quotes from Don Quixote last night when I was taking notes. Some that I thought really fit. The first one, you actually said a part of it when you were talking in the clip. When life itself seems lunatic, who knows where madness lies? Perhaps to be too practical may be madness. To surrender dreams, this may be madness. Maddest of all is to see life how it is and not how it should be.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Which also goes back to what I said about beauty. Like, or technically what Luke said about beauty and art and culture. It's like, okay, so you got survival down. That's definitely necessary. But like, then what keeps you going? Art, beauty, science, culture, stories.
Nick kind of touched in season 4 because he was like, we need to find this kid another book because they have to have something outside of just survival. When they were looking for, they had the book and they were opening up to figure out where they were going to go. And he's like, we have to have something else. It can't just be about survival.
And they find the library and all those books and then all those gardening or in charts and stuff. Yeah.
The other quote is, there is no book so bad that there is nothing good in it. And what does that make me think of? Madison. No one's gone until they're gone.
Precisely. That's that's amazing. But also, this is a very high concept that I think is very necessary for these kind of days. Like, in a world where everybody takes the one bad thing and says, oh, you're all bad, and I mean, not to get political, which seems to be like the thing that the recurring gag in our recaps. The one thing that really bugs me about most people when they talk about politics, it's like a zero-sum game. You look at a politician, let's say, and look, they only hurt their case when they say fear-mongery, and this is all politicians, it feels like, but all politicians do this thing where, you kind of scare act your way into politics and you say the other side is worse than the other. And what ends up happening is you turn your constituents into the same monsters where like you see one bad flaw from the other side and that person is a horrible human being, but then also blinds you to that person's flaws, the side that you're on. And so in going back to the show, it's kind of like, it's very easy to kind of look at a villain or look at a character that is supposed to be representative of the villain and say, oh, I don't like that guy, what a dickhead. But then the more you take a look at it, and it's kind of like what we said about books, even the worst books have value, so you look at the villain, you take the sum total of that person, it's like, yes, maybe they're not such a great person, or maybe they are trying to threaten the people that we're following, but nobody is so bad to not see what they're trying to do. Like, in a sense, there's evil is only evil in as much as good people stop being good, right?
Negan and Dwight are good examples of that, because when we first see them, they're horrible people. We hate them. They're doing terrible things. But later on, we kind of realize that they have good in them. It just needed a way to be brought out, or circumstances to be brought out.
Right. The conditions by which they could find a way to be that person that they actually wanted to be, but in a way that works for everybody, or for them even. The idealized self.
They didn't know how to be that person before, and now they have a means to be that person.
Exactly. And that's what Fear the Walking Dead season 5 essentially is trying to do. Like, you see these characters struggle and find a deeper truth in themselves. The helping people was, a delusional smoke screen, and then really it's just, I need purpose, and maybe this is the way to get it, So I like that. I really like that. And that's why I chose the quote. I'm like, no, this has got to be the quote, because there were so many in this one, so many that I could have chosen for this episode. Seriously. Take your pick.
One of the things I love about the book is the Easter egg, the the book hints, quotes, like the yearling in season 4, and I noticed it in 101, Winesburg, Ohio. Just the little things, and if you're a fan and you take the time to deep dive into those, you will get such a deeper understanding of what they're doing. I love that stuff. I love the Easter eggs and the details.
Yeah, definitely. Although I'll say one thing, the only thing that I'll say is that, and I fear that seasons 4 and season 5 in some ways became depended on those Easter eggs, hoping that the audience would get it and that it would further help them figure out what the season's about. In some instances, like the Don Quixote thing, like Tale of Two Cities, right? All these different things that you could easily attribute to just enhancing the story. But in some ways, it kind of like it was almost like the undergirding of the structuring of the season, and which is a mistake, because I mean, it's not a mistake. It's like reaching. It's like you're trying not to talk down to your audience, right? But like, at the same time, sometimes you have to spell some things out. Sometimes in order for a show to be enjoyable, it's kind of like pop music. Why do people like pop music? Because it keeps it to it keeps it simple. And some people, look, that's what they like. And most people that's what they like, and so which is why it works. Why it's uncomplicated, it's beautiful still, and it works. Add a little frill to it. So, and that's why sometimes people will say like season 4, season 5 just didn't do it for them, in some ways. But I digress. Oh, this is the bonus content that
bye
from that episode.
My husband does that too. Fuck you.
I do it all the time now.
That damn T-Mobile commercial.
We just kept recording.
I don't know why that commercial makes me laugh so hard. The big fluffy things, and they're all saying hi and goodbye in the phone, and it cracks me up so bad, and I don't know why. I can't stop laughing when that comes on.
Because your husband does it.
No, I do it. I do it, and then he makes fun of me. I'll say goodbye, no matter if I'm like, bye. He's like, bye.
I don't know how you haven't noticed. I've been doing it the last few.
I just figured you were making fun of me.
No, I do it to Evelyn all the time.
Oh my gosh.
She's going out swimming. I go, bye.
or it's what's the eHarmony commercial? Is it eHarmony or is it Match? The girl at the end of she's like, I don't play games, and come find me.
You're talking about Rebel Wilson?
No.
Oh, no.
It's a girl on a dating. I think it's Match.com. No, it's somebody who's like on the site. It's not a famous person. Is it Match?
Come find me.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
she's like, come find me.
Evelyn hates her. Hates her with the passion.
We make fun of her so bad.
And her hatred is making me go like, okay, I think it's hilarious, but your burning hatred makes me not think so. Like, I thought it was funny, but now you're taking it way too seriously.
Gosh.
That bitch! That is a bitch!
That's a gold-digging
bitch! I'm like, holy shit.
Right? Oh my gosh. I don't disagree. No. But yeah, no, we make fun of her pretty hard. Yeah.
I think that commercial affected everyone who saw, because I just so many people after
Come
that
find
commercial
me
came out. And
on
I remember,
eHarmony.
I remember someone. I think I said like bye to someone who's like, "Hey, how do you know that?" I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, "Well, you're Brazilian. How do you know that?" I'm like, "Well, I have a computer. I can watch American channels and see their commercials in 2019."
Right, exactly. It's 2019, bruh.
2019.
I download torrents, bitch.
Exactly.
You think I don't get my Walking Dead episodes without commercials? I'm a real.
Exactly. I watch it live on my computer.
I think they're trying to hammer down the point that like this is how we do things. If we do keep doing things the right way, results will happen. And it's taken a long time for them to get to this point. Think about how things started out at the beginning of the season and look what they are now. Like,
Dave goes on a rant
on the radio going, "Is anybody out there? Is anybody out there? It's another day here and at the denim factory at the mill."
Right.
I half expected somebody to like go, "Good morning, Mill," and, like fucking around or
Sarah.
something. It's just that boring and nobody's answering.
Yeah.
So and then now they're actually helping people, and the group is growing just kind of pave the path. This is where we're at. This is who we are, how we got here. And it's kind of like building an audience too. I was thinking about like how far we've come. Okay, as a podcast, like we started out barely knowing how to grow an audience. You had people like, by the way, I mean credit to Johnny Fives Alive, who popped onto Instagram. Like you have like these people who are like monitoring hashtags, right? TWD, fear TWD, etc. And then they pop on, they like your posts, and then you pop onto theirs, and you're like, damn, that's a good edit, and then you kind of look for each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you could be okay. Let me put it this way: you can be like Ginny, and you can like do like follow for follow. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I like your music. You want to follow me back? Like you could be like Ginny, or you could be like this group, like making connections. Doing the right thing the right way, following people because you want to follow them, not because you want them to follow you back. Like I'm not going to follow somebody who posts. I mean, no offense to anybody, because I would follow you if from my personal account if you had just pictures of cats and alcohol, right? Like just you drinking drinks, and not your cat drinking drinks. That's abuse. No. But like you having the cat and put it on his shoulder and burping the cat, like that's fine. I'll follow you from my personal. I'm not going to follow you from my Squawking Dead account. I'm just that's not. I don't need that. I need to be making. I need to follow people that I can actually genuinely have interactions with. I see like art, I'll kind of comment on it, or if I see like you're even just like a fan picture, like I can just comment on that picture and we can talk about it. You know what I mean? And it's not out of malice. It's more like I just want to make genuine connections. So and you see that like we started out, we barely had 200 followers like by the time Walker Stalker came out, and now like we're getting really close to 1,000. And I've seen accounts hit 1,000 in less than a month.
Holy crap!
Right? Just because of this follow for follow nonsense.
Oh.
Now that doesn't impress me. That really doesn't impress me. How many likes do you get in return? Oh, you're getting 300 likes, but do anybody really care?
Right.
I don't think so. Because a lot of the comments, I don't like the hearts and the thing. You're not really engaging with anybody, And so it really kind of hit home for me when I saw that, because when you see this diametrically different way of operating these two groups, it does kind of hit home, like how like you have this bedrock group who many times, and Morgan's like, does anybody want out? If it's totally okay if you want to go with her, and not one of these beaten down, back against the wall people are like going to Ginny. They're like staying with the group because they know, and it's kind of like us a little bit. I mean, look, we may eventually get boring and say, I hate Carol. I hate Daryl and Carol. The idea of them being together, and then you'll run away.
Stop.
Fuck it all.
I think I don't mean that. So
right. But,
I still think it.
Fuck this podcast.
Everybody's opinions are valid and
right. Yes,
respected.
Exactly.
It's not about quantity; it's about quality. I value everybody that I follow and who follows back, and and I do I see these things, and like you said, you comment, you support, that's how you support people on social media. That's how you network, is by making those comments and connections with people. Who's talking? I see your face.
No, I just see they're commenting on the cat thing.
Oh yeah.
The cat. Why is your cat drinking? I don't know.
Too much milk. Don't do that either. Cats are lactose intolerant.
If you do have a personal, I don't want you to take a picture from the internet, but if you do have a personal picture of you burping a cat, I want to know, and I will post it to my feed. That's how like badly I'm very interested in seeing that. But again, you have to be the one burping it. So anyway,
never received it.
But yeah, it goes back to the
it.
point of like,
Very upset.
it's just making solid connections, and they're saying like, oh, we'll see you at Walker Stock. I'm like, yes,
yay,
and yes, that's it. That's what it's about, man.
Yep.
We have to go back.
We have to go back to Camp Merrimack.
We have to go back. Kate, we have to go back.
We have to go back.
Last moment.
This is actually a really important question because we all deal with this, like, to a degree, this kind of behavior. Like, have you found yourself doing that? I mean, I do it because I like the content sometimes, even if they do the follow for follow thing.
With my fan account, I get a lot of, even on comments on posts like, hey, nice content, follow for follow. I don't even answer. And the DMs, I just delete them because I'm not going to do follow. I'm going to check the account
or the comments
first.
though too, or the comments, right?
No, I don't delete the comments. I just ignore them. But I do go to the page first, and I see like, okay, that's a good content. Even if they unfollow me, if I like the content, I'm gonna follow.
And that's the worst, right? Like they'll do that, and then they'll unfollow you, and you're still following them. And it's fine ostensibly, but like, what a shitbag move, right?
And I did start following a lot of people, not for that, and then I realized, you know what, I'm gonna actually unfollow a lot of people and just follow accounts that have to do with
the content, the fan content, right?
The fan content. So I won't get flooded with posts.
I think all of us have had this experience, and especially you and me, Nisa, because of this one person who shall not be named forever. No, I'm kidding. I'll bring it up. It's Sorgon 9. I used to get tagged a lot by people on certain posts. Yeah, it's one thing, and I'll like them, but I automatically have it so it doesn't show on my profile. Which, by the way, a lot of celebrities do not do.
Yeah,
a lot of celebrities will leave that option open so that it shows in their profile, and that's not good, by the way. Some of those things, but the thing that I hate the most, and it's really fucking rude because I'm not like associated with AMC or The Walking Dead or anything like that, but I have an audience that needs to grow, right? Like I just want people to get eyeballs on my shit, but like occasionally I'll get like somebody who will tag me in a post, and these are the same people who won't even like our posts. Do you know what I mean? And that's just so fucking rude to me.
You don't me, but you want me to promote your shit, but you don't take the time to interact with me. I have 2 or 3 of those people on Instagram, and they're nice, and I deal with them, but they're like tagging me and shit all the time. Like I'm supposed to go like and comment on their shit, but they never. And I'm sorry, I'm cutting so much. Never,
it's my fault.
Ever come to my page. And they never come and like or interact with me in any way.
Yeah, I have this one person on my fan account that is always, it's a cosplayer that is always tagging me on, I think she cosplays as a male character, but anyway, and she doesn't follow me, or even, I don't think I ever saw her liking any of my posts, but she's always tagging me on hers.
Anything to do with the show at all?
In my case, it is the show. She's always tagging me in her edits and stuff, and I'll come and comment on it, but I have never seen her like or comment on anything on my feed.
Here's the worst part about the instance that I'm talking about is that I'm trying not to give too much away. This is an erstwhile comedian person, like a young lady, who will tag me in her like little skits, which ostensibly may have something to do with like the Walking Dead universe, but really not. It was like a kind of a cross-pandemic thing where like, oh, what if Lucille was in the show? Like whatever. The whole point being is like there's a tenuous connection, but like meanwhile, you're tagging me in this post, you're tagging me like, and so in the hopes that it'll appear in my profile or something like that. And yeah, like there's almost zero connection to the show. You're just a comedian who's trying to, get the hustle. Yeah. But like, yeah, at least if the cosplayer, let's say the cosplayer or the edit has something to do with the show and you tag me and I'll be like, yeah, I like that. I may even share that. But that is just rude. And the worst is when they're not bad people, like the worst. It's like, you want to like, what the fuck, dude? And actually do something about it, like delete them or block them or whatever. But yeah, and now it's like, they're actually not that bad people. It's just they're young or stupid, or they got this ignorance thing, that little block that they just don't see what they're doing is kind of like, passe, or not really nice.
This cosplayer that always tags me, it, cosplays a character of the show, so it has to do with the fandom. Okay. And I have put it on my stories, her cosplay, because it's a really good cosplay. And she never liked any of my content. She doesn't follow me, but it it is actually good content. So
Right.
I am gonna share it. And then she's like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, oh, you're welcome. Good content, by the way.
You could thank me by following me.
Yeah, no, I don't really care, but I'm also not gonna follow that person because like I just follow the actors, directors, and some other fan accounts.
And that's the thing, you don't have to follow them. I mean, if they're the ones that. See, the thing is that's what gets me. And this about your situation is that, like, dude, okay, you're gonna tag me in a post, but not even follow me. Like, they're the ones who are trying to get your attention, but like, you're not even doing the bare minimum of following the account you're tagging. That's even way more rude.
Social media is all about reciprocity. If you're not being reciprocal, then you're not holding up your end of social media.
Right. Well, I see it more like, I mean, yes, that's the unfortunate reality in some respects. Like, because I think marriages are kind of like harmony. It's not necessarily, reciprocity. It's more like, I'll do this, but you'll do that, and that kind of thing. So sometimes relationships are unequal, right? Sometimes you follow stars, they don't respond back, right? That makes sense. I mean, time and bandwidth and the Dunbar number, which you should all look up for your mental health. The Dunbar number is the maximum number of relationships you can possibly have and maintain properly. Look that up. We actually do talk about it. We have talked about it on the show, but anyway, but the whole point is that, like, I see social media as a means of being social. If you're not being social, then you're either doing it wrong or, you're putting something out there to be discussed. That's the whole point. That was supposed to be the whole point. It's not just about advertising. I'm giving you something that can open up a discussion about that something. It's easy because we're a podcast, something to engage with. So when we go out and engage with others, that stuff actually ends up being on the show, or that stuff ends up being something we end up talking about. So, and we'll talk about it in the comments, but like, we'll also talk about it. Yeah, I just spoke to this and this person that they say this, and I thought that was really interesting. So I'll bring it on the show, et cetera, et cetera. It's a thing that starts conversation, hopefully. Ideally, because I'm an idealist, but it's like you said, Sharondy, it does end up being a system of reciprocity, like meaning or a reciprocal nature of, which I think is pragmatic, but pragmatic doesn't always seem right. But whatever, anyway, it ends up being that way.
Let's go to the obvious question of, do you think Morgan will die?
No, of course not. No, not convinced. I saw him roll under the dumpster.
I love that you said that, by the way. I love that you're so quick to say that, too.
So the second time I watched it the first time by myself, and then the second time I watched with my husband, right? And we're getting to the end, and he's like, oh man. And I go, wait, watch. And he's staring so intently, right? And he's like, and then the screen goes black, and he goes, what happened? I said, you didn't see it?
I didn't see it. Wait, you saw something?
I said, he rolled under the dumpster. And he goes, oh, fuck
the fuck out. He's such an asshole.
I laughed so hard. No, of course he's not dead. He's Morgan. He doesn't die.
I can tell you what evidence I have that he may not be dead. You ready for this?
Yeah. Convince me more.
Did you see? So remember how last week I pointed out the tree in the teaser, the tree in the chapel, the tree that Alicia and Wes painted.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so we got to see that it was them both.
Mm-hmm.
All we saw was the tree. We didn't know who did it. So it was Alicia. It was a joint project. Did you see what was written above the tree?
I did not. I could not make out any words on that
I had to go
image.
Full screen on that.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything.
No one's gone until they're gone.
So
Morgan is backing away from Ginny to the chapel, just underneath the archway where they drew the painting. And what does it say? No one's gone until they're gone. What did Madison say to the kids? No one's gone until they're gone.
Yep.
That was my saving grace, having him back up underneath the chapel archway as kind of like, wait, does that mean what I think it means? Right? Like, does that mean, oh, for sure he's not dead or not dying? Yeah, and then all the other theories as a result, like, okay, oh, bro, he's gonna get taken away by the helicopter that Rick's on, or, like, which I really genuinely thought would be a thing.
I never thought he was gonna die. I mean, I wasn't in the crazy, the helicopter's gonna pick him up or anything, but I figured somebody would show up and say, oh, it's gonna be Sharon. Oh, it's gonna be Madison.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. All over the place. Like, I have to operate within what I'm given, right? So, like, I have to also see that through. Like, what would it look like? What would that look like for Morgan to die in that instance? And like, where could the story go as a result? Because, I mean, there is something poetic about, like we were talking about when we were talking about Meet John Doe. I like that idea because, okay, well, this person comes into your life, shakes things up, gets you guys together, keeps you hoping, keeps you going, keeps you on the path, and then what happens happens when you take that person off the path? You know, like what happens when that person's removed from your life? Do you remember? Do you become something else as a result of that?
He's still removed from their life. He's just not dead. Because
Right.
apparently he's, judging by the trailers, he's not around anybody.
So being me and assuming that it'd be somewhat like Madison, except maybe there is some sort of trail, right? There's not dead. So I didn't want to believe he was dead either, which is why I said, oh, Madison, the helicopter, Rick, etc., CRM, which showed up in this season, which so makes sense. Heath, right? Heath coming down with Jadis, the strike force. But like why I said that was because, okay, you can make it seem like he died, maybe somewhat like the way Madison died, right? Or didn't die, right? Right, everybody, right? And then take him away from the show where, you know, you can be upset that he left, but also relieved that maybe he's going somewhere else, you know? And so it's not a death. It's like a Rick thing, you know, like they think he's dead. So they operate on the premise that he's dead, which they're still doing now, but he's still on the show. And then how do these characters shape out, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. Like, how do you cleverly do that?
I never thought Morgan was gonna die, but there was, you know, a part of my mind that was, what if? Okay, how am I gonna keep him alive? I did think, okay, the helicopter. I started creating these crazy theories. You know, like going as far as the guys from Vato. They're gonna appear in Fear and they're gonna save Morgan. Like, you know, you go to this crazy length.
That is pretty crazy.
Just to save Morgan. No, he's alive. He's gonna stay alive. He's gonna be saved somehow. He's not dying.
Yeah,
but
he's alive in spite of himself.
Yeah, like he's not dying. You're not killing him, okay?
No, I'm gonna hit you with a newspaper right on your snout, like an abusive dog owner. Okay, so that leaves us here with our Fear the Walking Dead coverage, our best Walking Dead clips of Fear the Walking Dead season 5. Thank you very much, and if you like what you heard, definitely try to rate us on ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. 5 stars and an eggplant is all we need, but you know, if you'd like to say more, please do. ko-fi.com/squawkingdead. Follow us there at least, and if you do want to support us, if you find it in your heart, $3 gets you 30 days of access. If you subscribe to a coffee a month, the party keeps on rolling and you keep on getting content. More than anything else, thank you for watching. Always leave a like and share and follow, and then also leave us a comment. Let us know how screwed up we are for wanting to kill kids and eat animals. We always appreciate that. By the way, if you do give us a coffee, you will get access to all of these clips in a special YouTube playlist that we have just for backers for now. Eventually, we're going to be releasing them as one-offs here and there throughout the year, something like that. But you're not going to get them all in one place the way coffee backers do. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping us reach 100 episodes. Stay tuned for our 5th and final part of this retrospective, episode 100, where we cover our coverage, our best clips of our coverage of The Walking Dead season 10. So I'll see you in the next one. And thank you, Sharon D, aka Blazy Gardner everywhere, and Nisa, WTF Nisa, on social media. Thank you so much. Take care, y'all, and we'll see you very shortly.
Bye.
Bye.